Welcome to the Kaizorian experience. Over here, we're going to be talking about everything African. We're going to be having debates, discussions, entertainment, as well as learning about business, art, history, and everything in between. Cultural, tribalism, and everything. We're going to be out here debating with some really interesting stuff. So like the video, share the video, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe for the best experience ever. This is the biggest channel on the Afrosphere. So come and join the team, become a Kaizorian, and join the Kaizorian Empire.
I universally exist within myself, within this premise, and I exist within this bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like the blue in the sky. I'ma fly like bird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma throw my bluebird in the sky. I'ma soar like bluebird in the sky. I'ma soar like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fight like bluebird in the sky. I'ma eat like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be bluebird in the sky. I'ma be free, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be free like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Back again like the second coming. Strumming my vocal cords like the hummingbird in the sky. Y'all can't deny this. Real rap lyrics, it's like I ain't got no rhyming through the sky limit. What is skin tone, shade of color, but a parallel form of frequency like a ringtone on your phone. Melanin expression tied up in the universe, feeling like God. Is it really us? Is it serious? Is it really wrong to be diverse? I'm a divergent, immerse myself like an ocean beneath this waves. Be a divergent, born to be different. Indigo child, wild like canary. Born to be a bluebird in the sky, flying high like a bluebird in the sky. I'm a fly high bluebird in the sky. Yeah, bluebird in the sky. I'm a fly high bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Everybody scream bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly high bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Yeah, bluebird in the sky. Everybody, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bone black, sweet like a berry. Flying high, high like a canary. Scary with my hoodie on. Hating on my vibe on the street that you'll be feeling my frequency of the song. But I know that I ain't never ever gonna be ever the same. But I know.
To like, share, and comment and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about what's going on in South Africa. And over there, shout out to you, Mrs. H. You actually came through from the beginning. But anyways, we're going to be talking about what's happening in South Africa. South Africa right now is experiencing the Great White Return, where the citizens over there are coming back to reclaim their nation away from the dawn of the planet of the right. They've said enough is enough, right? White South Africans left South Africa after the black government ANC took control, right? And they thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to Europe. I'm going to go back to my people. So after going back to their people, they thought, oh yeah, UK is going to be nice.
right? Canada is going to be nice. But what they realized is the farms they had in South Africa were better. The communities they had in South Africa were actually better than what was going on in the UK. The UK is essentially a poor country, right? If you're poor in Africa, fine, you'll do well there. But if you already had something, you are going to suffer. So when South Africans went to Europe, they realized that Europe is poor. They realized, actually, no, I want to go back to my country. I am a white South African. I'm Afrikaans, and I don't want to be living with the Europeans. I'm African, right? But not just that, I don't want the Africans, the black Africans, specifically the Khoikhoi and those dusty Africans, to ruin my nation, my great white nation that my ancestors created. So, anyways, we'll start off as usual. We'll start by analyzing this video by a white South African, and talking about exactly why there is a great white return, right? You niggas only thought it was Blaxit. No, it's not just Blaxit. There's also white return. So shout out to the gentrification of South Africa. Hopefully they can save it.
March 2024. Country's on fire. There's no water. There's no electricity. Crime is out of control. Unemployment rate's out of control. But you know what? There is a silver lining. At least it's not London.
And I know you'd be thinking of that and thinking, what on earth?
Uh-oh. Did you hear that? At least it's not London. So, and here's a thing that I keep saying about Africans, right? If in Africa you have a decent job, you have a decent wealth potential, you have some land, you have just something, you are far more better in there than you are in London. London has become a poor place, right? I'm sure one man's family is unable to buy meat every day, yet in Africa, I can afford meat every day, right? I'm sure one man has to go and tell his kids, no, we can't eat beef today. We have to eat Indomie and a packet of rice cakes, right? I know this is the case. I don't have to do that. So I'm just saying, right, despite what the white South African brother just mentioned there, South Africa's got no internet, there's no water, unemployment rate is off the roof, but at least it's not London. It's kind of interesting, right? Our generation were lied to, right? We all thought, right, we're going to go to Europe. We're going to find a great place. It's going to be milk and honey, and we're going to be able to find our place there. Nope. Even I went there, got my education, got my PhD. I decided, you know what? Nope. Africa is definitely better than whatever it was. And that's why I decided to come and venture down these ends. That's the reality, right? One man says, is beef a metaphor? I don't trust this Kenyan rascal. No. In this case, it's not a metaphor, right? Mrs. H says, Africans make me sick. They always allow this. Well, let's go. Let's see what happens.
It is on about? Well, my friends, there's a homecoming revolution of sorts where South Africans who moved to Europe and especially to England a decade or two ago are now thinking to themselves, South Africa is burning, but, it's live there than it is currently in England. And for us, this is a phenomenal shift because for the longest period of time, we've been saying, don't emigrate, especially to Europe, because Europe is a bit shit. And it looks like we have been vindicated.
It is a bit shit. Like I'm just look. Let me make something quite interesting here, right? Yes, I'm a narcissist. I'm telling you what's interesting. If you look at the pilgrims, right, the white Americans, right, or Europeans who went into America to create it, right? These people went into a desolate land. They found literally animals there, a few people, but there was nothing there. There was no civilization, right? They built everything from scratch. The convicts from Britain who went to Australia, they built everything from scratch. Africa is basically a virgin land. You can go find land somewhere that's unclaimed, claim it for yourself, build your own little resort, get it legally registered. Like I'm just saying, there's a lot that can be done in Africa. You can literally create cities out of nothing. I'm just saying, you people, right, are not that organized and don't really want to do it. White people are doing it, right? They're coming back to Africa. I mean, just listen to what I'm saying here. White people are coming back home to Africa while black people are running to Europe.
A recent report showed that 30% of those South Africans that have left are returning.
Look at this data here. According to a recent quantitative study of South Africans, East Africans and West Africans living abroad, 34% want to return home and 22% are still undecided.
Oh, returning. Ramon, that's a substantial figure. 30% of people is not small.
Well, there are estimates that close to 2 million people have left South Africa since 1994, so 30%.
Yeah, so let me read to this part here. It says, Schwellnus explained that some of the push factors cited by many expatriates, right? The push factor meaning what makes them, go, for leaving the countries that they went to are, right? The steadily increasing cost of living, especially in European nations. Yep. High inflation. Yep. It's expensive. Barely people are affording to pay the rent. Unpleasant weather. Oh my God, that one's a terrible one. Like Nairobi has and Addis Ababa have the best weather. Strict regulations that affect all aspects of daily life, right? You're a robot, you're controlled. Every aspect of your life is in some kind of system. So if you want to be free, Europe is not the place. Cultural differences, I don't really mind. I prefer European culture, if I'm honest. I definitely don't like African culture as much, but the ongoing energy crisis triggered by Russia, Ukraine. Okay, so that means very expensive bills, especially during winter, cold months. Lack of familial as well as friendship structures. I don't really mind. I am a loner, right? Some expatriates have reached mandatory retirement ages in Middle Eastern countries, which prevent them from renewing their residence. Okay, so that's like specific stuff over there. But let's go ahead and see what they're saying.
Of that is what, 600,000 people coming back? Very big. But, fundamentally, the world has changed so much that the goals and aspirations of those who left South Africa, to London, for example, I mean, those goals and aspirations haven't really been.
This is not just South Africans, but obviously, part of the conversation is about South Africa. But this is generally a conversation about diasporans who are just saying, nope, I'm really tired, I can go build my nation over there, right? It says here, one man says, but European culture is a derivative of African culture. Definitely not, right? Definitely not. Definitely not. No. African culture is very different, very dusty, to be honest. Like I said, right? I prefer European culture, right? Because I'm an individualist. I don't like certain African stuff, but I prefer being in Africa, right?
London is sort of officially a shithole. Always has been, in my eyes, but has become more of a shithole than ever before. London is sort of officially a shithole. Always.
He's saying London is a shithole, right? And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm going back to South Africa. I'm going back to Joburg. I would rather live in Cape Town rather than live in London, whereby you're barely alive, barely living, right? And again, even if you're earning over 80K a year in London, that money is barely sustaining your living expenses, right? London is just dead. He's not wrong there. Like, I 100% agree with what he's saying. Like, London is one of those things from the past that unfortunately got destroyed. Darth says, but Kaiser, a lot of South Africans have recently left to come work in the UK. Well, he's saying that they're going back.
Has been, in my eyes, but has become more of a shithole than ever before.
That may very well be the case. And you know what, Ramon, I would actually agree with you on that front. I would agree that London is not the same place to the people.
The Cockneys are replaced by the Africans and the Indians. I know where this is going, right? He's like, yeah, there ain't no more Cockneys anymore. Even Idris Elba's got a Cockney accent, but you can clearly see Idris Elba is not a Cockney ethnicity. He's not a white British man from, wherever. He speaks like one, but he definitely isn't one. So yeah, so 100%. The brother's saying facts. London has become an S-hole. You're only going to live in London really if you earn money in London. You have to be there. But in terms of life, no. There's really no net benefit of being in London.
Extinct in London. They don't exist. It's an entire group of people that are native to the United Kingdom that have been made extinct by mass immigration. And that has occurred in the last 20 years. So any individual that would be on that side of the pond going, it's not the same, would be entirely correct. You see, Ramon, the reason this becomes curious is that a lot of individuals who cite the reasons for leaving are because, they had their auntie that moved there in 2001 or 2004, and they did all right. They did quite well. The kids went to school and they bought a house and they did yada, 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 something. And the biggest problem, Ramon, is Not 2020. It's not 2004 anymore. It's 2024, and the world has changed. And now what we are seeing is that a number of individuals that did go are going, this isn't the place we came to.
Yep. That's true. Yeah, if you came in UK around the early 2000s and you're basically like relatively intelligent, you saved up a little bit of money, you worked with your husband, wife, or family members, you bought a couple of properties, you got on the ladder. Right now, that property is worth a significant amount. Yeah, then you all would have been okay. But those coming now in the last couple of years, you're barely coming here to survive. You're coming here to do the jobs that nobody wants to do. You're basically filling in the market for all those kinds of people. So he's definitely saying the truth, and that's why white South Africans are saying, "Nope, I've had enough of London. Right? I want to go back home. I want to go back to Africa." One man says, "Ban tricky Kenyans. Shut up for your £2. I appreciate it too." I have seeing it. Okay, you need to learn how to write that. But anyways, I have seeing it. I am inquiring how they find it in comparison to what they had. So Chukwu says, so London on a London a shithole because there are ways to many immigrants there. The colonial chickens have come to roast. Okay, whites like them. Hate immigration to the west, but promote white migrants to Africa. That's why I live in Surrey and commute to London twice a week. Yep, exactly. That makes perfect sense. What's up, Kaiser? When you're doing a show with the Luo twin girls on their channel blowing up? Yeah, 100%, 100%. They want Europe to remain white, but Africa to be theirs. Bare Cockneys in outskirts of London turned. Okay, I have a family in Manchester. Okay, shout out to the Manchurians.
And individuals that are now going are going, this isn't the place that we were promised. And so inevitably, well, they're coming home.
But here's the thing: who promised them, right? I keep hearing these statements by people. Oh, they promised us this. Nobody promised you America is great. Nobody promised you Africa is great. You guys watched movies and then you projected yourself in those movies and you thought somehow UK or America is going to be like that. And then when you get there, you get disappointed. Nobody actually told you it's great, right? Like even your family members that never really told you it's great. They just told you, hey, I make this amount of money, and you filled in the gaps yourself.
They are coming home. And I think the beauty of South Africa is you can live off grid. And I'm not talking about water and electricity, which are just like physical senses of being off grid. I'm talking about social, psychological, spiritual. You can live in your home very comfortably, go within a 10-kilometer radius, be in a very much a first world country in most of the major cities in South Africa, never having to worry about government nonsense.
Okay, now I'm not saying that he's racist, right? Obviously, I don't like accusing people, even if it's true. But he's basically saying, you're a white South African, you're high IQ, right? You want to go do stuff, but you don't want to be like prevented from doing it by the black government, right? Because hey, we don't trust them. There's a bunch of socialist communists growing in the country, right? They can't keep the lights on, they ain't got no water, crime rate is off the roof. You don't have to rely on that. If you go to Joburg, Johannesburg, some of these big cities, first of all, the first world, right, in terms of development, you can just live off grid. Just get your own solar panel, right? That means you don't have to rely on the electricity from the government since it's SHIT. Anyways, you don't have to rely on anything. You can just live your own life. You don't have to worry about what the black government's doing, and then you can build your own community. So he's even telling them how to stay away from inwards.
But in London or in Germany or in Austria or even in bloody well Australia, government nonsense is all around. And it's very difficult to switch off from that because those governments are very bureaucratic. They want to enforce all sorts of bullshit bylaws and they want you to, comply with whatever they want you to comply with. Whereas in South Africa, yes, the country's on fire and, things aren't looking so rosy at the moment. You're still able to go off grid. Socially, spiritually, psychologically, and of course physically. And I think that is not available in many countries around the world.
Because the problem is, Ramon, that a lot of these individuals are sold a better life abroad. But they're not really sure why they're sold a better life abroad. And part of the reason that they are sold a better life abroad is basically because there's a significant amount of marketing companies in South Africa that specialize in immigration to abroad. So would you know, Ramon, these individuals are suffering degrees of mass marketing for business opportunities to go abroad for better economic opportunities, only to find that when they get there, isn't really what they were promised. So the net result is, would you know it, they're coming home. Now, the reason I highlight this to you, Ramon, is because if you look at BizTech today actually released the article actually attempts to be fair. And it's a bit weird because what it basically says, accountants looking to leave South Africa. That's the headline.
Yep. So these questions kind of make you kind of think about a couple of things. Is Africa special? Because if white people are coming back, and here's the thing, I keep saying this, right? I think Africans, or rather Afro-descendant people, have some aversion of creating their own nations and fixing them. If you can get a bunch of white people who aren't even technically indigenous, right? They're native to South Africa, but they're not indigenous, right? South Africa, they're coming back to rebuild their nation, and white and black people are running away as far as possible from their nations instead of developing it, right? Some of the problems we have, we always talk about geopolitics. Dwight Man does this. Dwight Man doesn't want us to be free. We're always blaming Dwight Man, but the reality is, if White Man is going back to Africa to rebuild his nation, why can't we do the same? I honestly do have to ask you guys this question, right? Are we simply only going to pretend, complain, and cry? Meanwhile, the reality is, Dwight Man is coming here and rebuilding his nation, right? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Are we ready for that, right? Are we pilgrims or are we slaves, right? No, I'm being serious, right? The only time Africans built anything is when we were under slavery or colonization. We didn't go to America, right, to build out from ground. We didn't build Africa from ground, right? When Black Americans come to Africa, we scam them. When Africans come back home, we treat them bad, we scam them, right? We don't really have a mentality of building, unfortunately. So that's the question I'm asking you guys, right? What is going on with Africa? Right? Africa is the final frontier. Yes, it is the final frontier. And where are the Africans? Why are we getting, instead of getting Blaxit, we're getting white return? This is a crazy thing going on.
And if you read it, it tells you the reason that these accountants are looking to leave is because there is a global shortage of accountants, or global shortage of talent. In the very same article, right at the bottom, they basically say, yeah, but there's a lot of people now that are accountants that are actually suffering a reverse immigration trend and coming back to South Africa. And they actually state that the places they're coming back to are places like Cape Town, the Western Cape, and some suburbs of, well, where you live. Isn't that kind of curious? It's kind of like two articles in one. One's like, you should all move, and but everybody's coming back. Why do you suppose that is the case?
Well, because it is decreasing. So even, those who have written the test of competence, which is a test you need to practice as an accountant overseas, I mean, that has decreased dramatically from 3,800 people in 2021 to 2,900 in 2022. And no doubt it's actually lower now, since 2023. But it looks like, I think, for a large part, people have moved overseas. They were promised something. Maybe they were...
Yeah, here's the thing. Nobody promised anyone anything, right? People, I don't get it, right? Niggas got their feelings and panties in a bunch, right? Europe looked good on paper. It looked good on movies, right? Nobody told you Europe is great. You just believed it. You saw movies, you looked at your life, and you thought, man, I want to live like that. Then you realize after going to London, it's expensive. Rent is 3/4 of your pay. You can't afford to live there, right? There's high crime rates, right? The blacks are stabbing people in London, right? Some of the black youths, etc. You find out that actually, you know what? I'd rather deal with the blacks in Africa rather than the ones in Europe, because at least there you can protect yourself, right? South Africa, you can protect yourself, but in Europe you can't protect SHIT. So white people finally decided to go back to Africa and to rebuild their nation instead of going out here. What's Kaiser talking about, right? I'm talking about white people finally being tired of living in Europe because Europe is a shithole. So now white South Africans are on a white zit, right, back to Africa. They've said enough is enough. London is a dump. There's no point me staying there anymore. So here's the thing, right? White South Africans will come back. They'll rebuild South Africa again and prevent all the nonsense that the black government is doing. And then the blacks will be crying for the whites to give them jobs and opportunities instead of building it themselves.
Promise more money, more freedom, more safety. And essentially, what they figured out was, let me just stick around 5 years for a damn passport, just in case I need a plan B. And while I'm waiting for this passport, I'll get proper money in pounds, right? Which is still a proper currency. It's the only proper thing about the Great Britain at the moment is the pound. But after 5 years, we've seen those videos where people are like, I moved to Ireland 10 years ago and I don't have a single friend. It's really difficult. Can't have a braai. Can't see the sunshine. Like, it's really shit. After a while, you're like, I can live in misery in London while being safe, or I can just move back, knowing full well that if I sell my house, I can buy a mansion in Bantry Bay and continue doing what I'm doing. Work from home scenario. It's a no-brainer for me.
It may be a no-brainer for you, Ramon, but there is actually a degree, I suppose, of problem in your logic there. And that is that some go abroad.
Yep. London is not safe at all, right? There's gangs all over the place. There's some young black youth deciding to stab people up, right? We know who they are. We know the tribes that they are, right? That come from London. Look, even I would never lived. Well, I did live in London a little bit, but I stayed away from where the crime is in London. I only lived in London by choice once because I was, in a university. I was working there, but ultimately, London was an s-hole, right? There's nothing there. Africa is the one, and so why South Africans are finally coming back home and are now thinking about coming to help save Africa. But anyway, guys, if you want to come in, you want to share your opinion about this. What should South Africa do? Do you think that South Africa is going to start doing better with white people returning? Clearly, they create the nation, so maybe they'll make it better. We don't know. So that's it. And also this whole general Blaxit. Would you go back to Africa? Do you want to stay in America and develop America? We don't know that. That is really up for you to say. There's no boat at the moment. Yes. The cars take 15 minutes to come. It's only 200, but
And inevitably, one of the things that you find is that if you ask an individual why they feel that a location is very unsafe, they'll tell you what I read in the news. Ask any individual that you know personally who is moving to Australia, South Africa, moving to Australia, England, or New Zealand. Ask them if they read the local news. Ask them. And the answer will inevitably be no. Because inevitably they are sold a better life through propaganda. Because the propagandists tell you it will be better. And yes, we all know that auntie that went there in 2000 and she did great. It's not 2000 anymore. It's 2024. And the world ain't safe anymore, mate.
It really isn't. But in South Africa, it can become a lot safer if you have the know-how, and more importantly, because you are able to make your life a lot safer here than in most places in the world. So the brain regain is excellent news for this country, and we should welcome more of them.
yeah. So, one man. I mean, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think whites should go back to Africa and help rebuild Africa? I'm not hearing it. I think it says audio not work. Yeah, I can't seem to hear you. Uh, porn bombing streams. Low. It says yeah. Pretty much expansionists got exposed. yeah. Expansionist was out there doing some crazy stuff. Um, yeah, exactly. Yep. Jamaicans, Somalis, and Central Africans, right? These are the ones doing the most crimes in Europe. And unfortunately, it is what it is, right? We know the tribes, we know the kinds of people over there doing all this kinds of stuff. Um, Africans are scaring the talent away. Well, no, I think this is this is a good thing ultimately because it basically means that Africans have a chance to actually, do things. Because previously, Africans were out here, stuck in all this stuff over here, but right now they're definitely doing things. Hmm? He threatened to delete one man. Yeah, some of these guys are definitely crazy. The way that they were doing things, they definitely need to, rethink things a little bit. But yeah, Nigeria first. What's your thought? Do you think that this is the good thing? This is the future for Africa?
I think even me, I said it that if we want to actually see development, we need to change our individual countries' visa policy. We need to allow create environment for serious people to come in and join the serious minded people on ground to build, because let's be honest, majority of us are not willing to build or to do anything. Just everyone, I don't understand this quick quick return investment mentality we have in Africa. It doesn't help anybody. Quick return, quick return. No, we need people who are smart, who can invest long term, 10 years, 20 years from now, that will get their money back that along that time. Instead of this, I invest today, I get my profit tomorrow. It doesn't help anyone. So we don't need such investment. I think I kind of agree. I think the whites need, some of them need to come in who are serious and ready to build with some of the smart blacks on ground.
Okay,
Case
makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
we need that collaboration, because most of our people are not well equipped to, you know, to undergo such a project. Even okay, for instance, if you want to build anything in Nigeria, in Africa, for example, it is very difficult for you to even find the talents to build. You still need to import experts from, where, to come in and help you, you know, build some of these projects. So it's crazy. I don't know. I think we have to change our educational system so that we'll have skill. At least you just go to school to learn how to be skillful and do all that thing, instead of this read and write kind of this thing with curriculum we have. It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't.
Okay. Shout out. Yeah, Abby, shout out to you. One man wanted to hear your voice. He had missed you. What's good? I heard that you guys had a money glitch the other day in
I can't
Ethiopia.
be here for long. I can be here for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I said I can't be here for long. I can be here for like 30 minutes. That's okay.
All right. Yeah, we can't really hear you well. Anyway,
Wait, let me fix
you
my
sound
mic.
like.
1 second. Can you hear
Uh,
me now?
keep talking.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a bit better. It's a bit better. Go ahead.
Wait, let me adjust the mic. Go talk to someone else.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Al. What's good, man? Uh, my dusty UK man who loves UK culture.
No, I'm your higher class brother, man. Don't mistake me for a dusty, fam. You know, my own background of UK brother is a high standard. We moved away from the
How
city a
about
long time ago. Huh? I live in Bristol. Remember, Bristol is one of the highest places to live in the UK. You need to go and buy a better, decent headphone, bro. Since I knew you coming on this internet in your maybe we need to contribute some money for Abby so you can get a decent headphone, you know.
bro, what are you talking about? I'm using the same headphone I used to.
I can't win since I've been hearing you on the internet, bro, from Afrodemos to here, your headphones are always a problem. But anyway, you go and speak.
What are you talking about? This is the first time my earphones haven't been working. I'm asking you, can you hear me properly now?
Not really. Do you
Yeah.
want to leave
So,
and come back? Yes, Kaiser.
so what were you saying?
Basically, I came in because I had you saying Africans never build anything,
Yeah.
except the white man. You keep repeating this. I don't know what kind of African you're talking about, but my kind of African that we built things before the foreigners came and destroyed it, and obviously since then we lost track, right? But
Okay.
going to the South African issue, you're very right. This is a very coincidental thing actually, because today I went to one of the engineering company that we work with in the UK, out in Yeovil. One of the guy, Ryan, is my good old friend. Yeah, he's a South African guy. He's gone back to South Africa. He's gone. And this guy, he was always complaining about South Africa. When I met him, oh, South Africa is shit, the government, this. And all of a sudden, I went there today and I asked his boss. His boss is like, this guy is always whinging about South Africa. He went to New Zealand, he went to Australia and he came back. And he went to Wales and he came back. And now he's gone to South Africa. And he's not leaving South Africa. He said he's gone back for good. And you know what? He's not the first person I know that actually, white South African have been coming to the UK bitching about Africa, but they're the same people that return back to South Africa and never come back. If Africa was so bad, why are they going back to Africa? That's the question we should be asking them. If Africa was so bad, why are they going back? They came to their brothers over here. You know how their ideology is like anyway. It's not like they're going to be coming here and become progressive, and so they are not. So the reality is they come here and obviously teaching their brothers, more
Africans would
hatred
rather
and
wait for
obviously
white people to come and rebuild things, then we'll go back.
I'm going back
Who's that?
next week, my brother.
Yeah, good.
Yes, Kaizo, brother. Kaizo, I'm coming, inshallah, Nakuja next Tariq Imbili.
Okay.
Sorry, bro.
Okay.
I'm just,
Good.
sorry for speaking in Swahili. I'm just trying to train because when I get there, Kenyan police in the airport, they're very corrupt, mate. So I have to be able to say
Right.
a couple of words, Or
Okay.
they're gonna say you have brought something into the country for no reason. Kaizo,
Right.
can I ask you something? Is the Kenya airport still the same, bro? Corruption, yeah?
Yeah, if you bring iPhone or something, they'll try to make you pay, man.
What about PS5? If I open the box and I open everything, I'll make it look like secondhand.
Even then, in Africa, second-hand items cost the same as brand new items. So
It's William Ruto, brother.
Mr. Sage, I'm doing well in the UK at the moment. If things were so bad for me here, I would definitely go. But at the moment, I
No,
don't
brother,
feel
you
like
know
I
what
need
it
to
is,
go.
brother.
But
I've been in the UK for too long,
when I
yeah,
do,
brother. You know what
when
it
I
is?
do go, of course, you need to visit back home, man. You need to go
Yeah,
and
man.
refresh the spirit again. It's very important.
That, brother. I like, the crowded atmosphere. When you're in Africa, you look out of your
Yes.
window, you see about 1,000 people walking on the streets, at any given time.
Yes.
Especially Isli, When you look at Isli, yeah, every like 60 seconds, at least 100 people have walked past, in front of your
Yes.
face. So I kind of like, the atmosphere and the smell and, You know, these
This is
animal, wild
this
animal,
is
not
what
wild animal. You know, these domesticated animal just walking on the street. Even
yes,
though people
everybody
say, you know,
suffering.
it's a backward, you know, third world mentality, but I don't know. It kind of bring me peace. You know, when I'm there, it's like I don't have stress, especially, you know, like when you're in the Europe, yeah. You always think about bills, payment, all of this stress after another stress. You know what I'm saying? But there, bruv, like
Right.
that's no limit to you know, that's no limit. So you're not even bothered, bruv, to be honest, to
Sorry,
stress
I
out. You
forgot
know?
to greet my brother. One man. I salute you, brother. Long time. I hope you're well and you and the family. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. We need to go back. I think every year or two we need to go back and refresh ourselves and come back. You know, but I do salute Kaiser. He's actually put the money where his mouth is, right? He's actually in the ground doing
Bro,
it. You
I've
know,
just looked at it. You know, I've just looked at it. Yeah. You know, and that's the area I was gonna go and stay at. It's called Parkland. Yeah. But when you look at it, you know, the apartment built over there in Kenya, and that it's even better than Europe. You know, if you look at it, the quality of
yeah,
life in Africa is getting higher and higher. You know.
higher, better. Brandon is showing some apartment in Kenya, and it's actually really,
Wow,
really
bro,
well.
it's
Yeah,
5 star,
yeah.
bro. And then they're
It's
only
well.
what £400-500 a month rent. You know, you got your own gym there, you got your swimming pool there, gated community. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
That is the important part, gated community and that. Yeah, but in the like, it's very much metropolitan city. You know what I'm saying? That's the good thing about living. You know, this kind of Nairobi and that kind of area, Accra. You know, Nairobi, these capital cities. You know.
yeah, no, but it is very important. Senegal, Kenya, Ghana, these are medium countries that if you got a bit of money, you can live a relaxed life. Even in Freetown, in Sierra Leone, if you got money, you can live a really good, relaxed life.
Yeah,
But
most definitely, brother. Freetown, yeah. But you know,
yeah,
with Freetown, you know, one thing I'm very disappointed with, yeah. You know, around
mm,
America and Europe, yeah, they do this once a year, this comic relief funds, you know, comic relief. So, you know, when they're
yeah,
saying we're doing 1 month of comic and all the
mm,
proceeds will go towards charity in Sierra Leone, for example, yeah.
mm-hmm.
But then when you look at Sierra Leone, bro, that company itself hasn't even built one well, you know what I'm saying? So there
No,
was this guy right now
I
that,
did. Yes.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's this guy. He's a white European from Liverpool, yeah. And he's saying that his grandfather is from Sierra Leone, yeah. But
Okay.
this guy right now, he's in Sierra Leone mining. You know, not mining. He's buying, you know, the raw material of these poor people.
Right.
Yeah, so he's making a lot of money, bro.
No,
But
but
then I look at
Sierra
it.
Leone,
Hold on, brother. Let me
Sierra
just say
Leone
this.
is.
I look at it, yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
go
just
on.
add this
Yeah,
here,
go on.
brother. Yeah. I look at it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because of the color of his skin. I see the guy literally walking into the jungle. You know, all of these routes. You can tell these routes is me and you walking there for the, you know, for the idea of wanna buy raw material. I believe
Okay.
some child shoulder will come there and shoot us, you know. But I believe because of the color of his skin, yeah, he's got
Mm-hmm.
some sort of protection, you know. And to be honest,
I
I
don't.
don't really believe he's walking in the wild, you know, in the bush like that. I think behind the camera, there's a whole army behind him, you know, they must. So he's not really showing everything.
Who is it? Is it Sierra Leone black guy
No,
or
it's
European?
a white guy. It's a white guy. He's called Sam Walker. He took a private plane from England. He landed
Yeah.
in Sierra Leone, and now he's walking around the bush. You know the bush with a
Okay.
500,000, a bag of. I don't get it as well, bro. Look, he's walking around with a bag of 500,000 because he's got no bank account. Yeah,
Okay.
are you telling me nobody's robbing that guy?
Okay. You see, Sierra Leone. We don't have that. We don't have that sort of crime in Sierra Leone, and it's not a country where people do robbery and that. We had civil war in the past, but you don't get robbed over there, regardless whether you're black or white. Trust me, we don't have that culture. Because if you get caught stealing, bro, you're gonna be dead. They'll put tie on your neck, bro. Yeah, they'll put tie on your neck. So obviously, it's a call. That's why Benoit was telling you, how you feel free in Sierra Leone when you go there, because you don't feel like that. You don't feel like people are trying to get you. Everybody mind their business. The poorest man is just trying to earn his own living. He's not watching what you got. You understand? In fact, if anything, they admire what you got. But right now, Sierra Leone, as you said, we don't have charity. All this charity you're talking about, they never helped us. The only people that help the country
They
is
never
the
help
diaspora.
nothing, brother. They never help
Yeah,
nothing. And You know what it
It's,
is?
it could be,
It takes a white, a fugitive, because right now the guy is a fugitive, innit? He ran away from the UK because the police and raided his house, So he
right.
does this all the time. Whenever police come to him,
Yeah.
but the good thing he does sometimes when he goes to Sierra Leone, he comes there with, like 2 containers full of goods. But at the same time, brother, and last time I think some people in a border, they're trying to stop his container.
Yes.
And that guy is saying, I'm gonna
Right.
shoot you, and I'm thinking, how are you saying this to an immigration officer? You are white, because I think
No,
it's because of the color of your skin.
he probably got protection there. He obviously got his own protection. It just don't believe in what you see on YouTube. Put it this way, that will not happen. If you're trying to shoot an authority over there, he'll definitely be arrested. Especially if it's a fugitive. If it's a fugitive, Sierra Leone and England got a very strong extraditing relationship anyway. So for you saying that he's a fugitive, that make me question.
No, what it was, look, that guy has spent half of his life in prison. He's been in and out of prison. I think the guy is about 36 years old, but at least 16 years of his life he spent in jail,
Maybe
from armed robbery, this and that. So what happens, and last time when he was in the UK, police broke into his house and started, raiding it. So the guy had enough. He said, I don't want to stay here. Why the police, they keep bothering me, So he said he went to Sierra Leone to buy raw material.
Sierra Leone, if you have connection with the people in the government, or if someone that's family member is actually high in the government, you can get a lot of protection. I think possibly that's one of the things that you're talking about here, but not necessarily that they're just gonna go there and openly do that, because he'll be definitely smoked, bro. And if he's gonna be traveling to a neighboring country like Liberia or Guinea, these guys will not tolerate. They will not tolerate that at all.
They will never tolerate, bro. Especially in Niger, because recently I heard they're catching people, trying to fly raw material out of, Africa. So the other day, I think, and a lot of gold was taken from Niger, and it was stopped in Ethiopia. Ethiopia.
Yes.
Because I think the Niger government has, and they said, and that some people are gonna fly out soon. Can you catch them? But I can't appreciate that. That the Pan-African government. I can't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Another African leader will look, like Ethiopia. Because Ethiopia, obviously they're Pan-African nation, right? They had to do something. They couldn't just take a bribe or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They have to catch those people at the airport, wherever.
Yeah, but I hear you. Go back to the topic. Yeah, when you hear white South Africans, basically coming over here, complaining about Africa, all the bad leadership in Africa, and blah blah blah. It's all bullshit, man. These guys they living in paradise in Africa. The life that they got in Africa, they will not be able to get that anywhere in the world. They themselves know that. Yeah, they left South Africa. Wait 1 second. They left South Africa and they come here just like us Africans, right? But they finish the life that they got in Africa is more decent. They got a decent life. They got influence over there in South Africa. They got the education that they can have. They got, what I mean? So it's like, how can you come to the UK or go to America or other countries and spend time
and claim and you claiming you are getting, and maybe you running to the UK and claiming asylum and saying that the black people are gonna kill me and that they're mistreating me. It don't make no sense, bro. You just came from paradise. You live in paradise lifestyle. Those black people themselves haven't even got running water in Soweto. If you look, one thing I've noticed, Soweto, yeah? It's a border in between, if you look in between from the ghetto side, if you look at the map, from the top, you can see where the white people live, like gated community, nice roads, clean area. But as soon as you go into the other side, and imagine it's the same, it's like the same city, it's completely different. So this is like, so now I kind of hear a lot of, far right, in the UK, they're saying, you African people believe that why South Africa should be killed and that. When have we ever said like that? Majority of Africa, all they're saying is that we believe that South African people have the right to their land and their resources. That's all we're saying, right? But for them right now, brother, they're trying to use, scare tactics.
Yes, like we don't want them to live in.
Because of the reason why they're saying that is because of the right that y'all kind of have, I think a while back. So they probably utilizing that as a pitch to get intangibles back in Europe. I wanted to ask you
Right.
a few things and I'll leave because it's not really like this is like y'all platform. I want to ask what's the long goal and who do y'all like truly think will be the savior of Africa?
Ah, very, very good question. I think, you know what? Interestingly, me and one of my brother was talking on Dinah's show last night. In fact, when everyone closed up, me and him was having a one-to-one serious conversation. And he's a very bright brother that actually been on this show before me. You know, we was actually trying to break things down. I think, you know, the military brothers in the long run would be the brothers that will be able to save us from the mess that we are in. And national service is a must, where every young citizen have to be in the army. You know, where the army will be taking responsibility of a lot of the stuff, including infrastructure, national security, you know, and so on. So we have to trust some of our patriotic military guys, you know, to take over not all, but most of our institutions in the continent with a brave Pan-African face and with a great ideology and a great vision. Without that, I cannot see anything changing soon. But however, military also cannot be the only solution.
Now, what
I
I'll
was
say,
gonna say, if you might give me a chance, brother, and I believe
Yes,
we all believe in the common same goals, you know, because you know
yes,
when we look at Pan African as a whole movement, it can be very confusing, you know, and there's many different direction Pan African leads to, you know what I mean? But if we as
right,
common people united under the goal of economic freedom for Africa, yeah, nothing
yes,
else will be able to be stopping us. You know what I'm saying? If we understood that, look, really truly, what's really going on, that you know,
yes,
just the theft of the African resources, we can just all as black people all around the world could understand, you know, this is a big
mm,
detriment to us, our people. You know what I'm saying? We should unite
mm,
under this goal. So you see, when people talk about slavery, this and that, it can be very confusing, and 100% reparation is own, yeah, but it gives these people, you know, the opposition leeways, you know, to come with different strategy. You know what I'm saying? On synchronized code
yes,
of conduct, you know, because these people, anytime
yes,
you wanna bring forward like that, but when you can tell them, listen, you guys claim to be democracy and liberal, right?
yes, yeah,
It's the only way I believe because I don't believe what I believe a lot of people around the world loves black people, and a lot of people are willing to support black people, but really truthfully they don't really understand fully what black people want. You know what I'm saying?
yes, yes. You're right.
As a
Even
common group, you know what I'm saying?
including some white people. Some white people want to help us. As much as we are very pessimistic and think all white people are against us, I don't think that's the case, because throughout our struggle, we always had white allies that genuinely wanted to help us out, genuinely on our side.
yeah, can I be
However,
honest?
you know, we're not united on our own side. You know, it's hard to help people that are not,
Right.
that doesn't know what they want. It's true though, you know, if someone doesn't know what they want, it's hard to help them. It's really hard to help them. And if you go to the East Africa wants different thing to West Africa. West Africa want different thing to the South. The North want different thing to the, you know, to the Central. So it's like, how is it gonna work? I think it's just gonna work on a regional basis, like East
Even
Africa.
the European, you know, even the European today are saying you guys are different from each other. You see that? You see, and how disrespectful it is, because they know they have put in place, you know, and different type of strategies, and you can, you know, and colonial mindset, you know, on different nations.
That's right.
So they know we've been divided. You know, they've already played a divide and conquer, you
Yeah,
know,
I
and
was
Yes.
started from way back, yeah. But now, 2020, nowadays, not 20, nowadays, anytime you're talking about Africa, and you, let's
Yes.
say there's a struggle going on in some part of Africa. And me as an East African, I
Yes.
believe that, you know, I should support that group, right? But the European will tell you, look, you're not even from that country, you're not even from that region. You guys are completely different people. And I realize it's a common thing, because these Europeans are telling you they're not knowledgeable people, they haven't studied anything. It's just, I think, bro, to be honest, it's inherently racism. They're just, this is how they are. They're just automatically used to
It's
opposing black people.
it's
You know them
system.
ones?
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
more,
that
They
but
will
the thing
oppose
is,
you.
some of
I
them
don't
are
think
in the
y'all
system,
understand the position
and that
that y'all
can
in.
benefit you.
Let me just add this real quick, and then I'll lead a panel.
No
I'm
problem.
like we outside looking in. I
Yeah,
don't think y'all understand the severity at what's at risk and what's at gains for them.
yeah,
I think y'all looking at it kind of from the American perspective, because like
okay,
what y'all saying, like some of them we need some of them to help us there because they've been there to help us. That's not really going to really give the solution that you guys are looking for as far as
okay,
like safety and safeguarding Africa as a whole.
yeah,
Everybody is over there from China and all whatever other regions is over there, whatever nationalities are over there. They're over there
yeah,
seeking the resources, you know. And I
yes,
feel like a lot of y'all kind of like y'all late to understanding like the politics. Like it's hard for y'all to
yeah,
transition from the traditional lifestyles to being in the position that you guys are in, because you genuinely could change your situation like overnight. It's just the
yes,
corruption. It's the corruption, and y'all refuse to centralize as one people, which is Africa is supposed to be one of the biggest continents, or the biggest continent. It fit multiple continents in there. So I don't understand, as the biggest continent, why y'all are so driven on I'm Kenyan, I'm Sudan, I'm this. Y'all can
yeah,
be y'all can just be African. I'm a resident of Nigeria, but I'm African first. And I think
yes,
y'all do the opposite and be like, I'm Nigerian first, I'm Sudan first. And as long as y'all have
yes,
that realm of thinking, that's being divided and conquered. You know, until you guys
that's right.
centralize one currency or centralize that region of area, you feel me? Or make even a centralized language, until y'all do something where y'all put all hands on deck and say, let's remove our problems, and then we'll do the divisions again. You know, I feel like until then, it's gonna be it's an uphill battle, because meanwhile y'all are trying to figure out the right approach to deal with this situation. Y'all are losing millions of resources on probably a monthly basis, you know, and y'all playing the game kind of like from the American perspective, but we're forced to
Yeah,
play these cards because of our circumstances and our situation. So I feel
yes,
like because that's like, and I feel like y'all, because maybe like the advancements that we made, they feel
yeah,
like y'all can take some certain stuff from us, but
yeah,
y'all game field, y'all are the overwhelming majority over there. We don't have that over here. You know,
no,
like y'all can
yeah.
centralize the
So,
currency, y'all control
yeah,
y'all foreign affairs. We can't really do
yes,
that over here. So a lot of the issues
mm,
that we're dealing with is because they have their pressing buttons. Y'all the
yes,
people that's pressing the buttons for y'all are corrupted. And until y'all deal with
yeah,
the corruption and form a unity amongst each other,
yes,
it's
yes.
gonna make
You
it
see,
hard for outside.
you see where you're right. I mean, if you look at West Africa, our highest height in history is when we faced the outside enemy. We had a common interest, and we had a one religion, which is Islam, that brought us all together and actually, unite us, and that enabled us to put the tribal differences aside and work together under one banner of Islam or Christianity or what happened is Islam happened to be the religion that came around that era, and it actually enabled us to stick together. And even though we had our tribal wars, we put our tribal wars aside and we fought together and actually managed to secure the West African region away from the outsiders. But since then, we were not able to progress further because the religion that we actually managed to assimilate into, which is Islam, did not advance us any further than defending ourselves from the outsiders. So unfortunately, we don't have that one thing that can actually bring us together, that could actually put the tribal differences aside. Because I'm gonna be real with you, the tribal issue is a big time downfall of Africa in general. It's not just the East, not just the West, even the Central. So until you're right, the Europeans knows that, right? The Europeans knew that, we're a very divided people before they got here. In fact, this is how they got into Africa in the first place, because we had tribal wars and some tribes seek help from them. So they came in. And this is still happening in some, micro level in the continent. We always have insiders who are the traitors or who always seek, help from the enemies to come and help. But not all white people are our enemies. That's one thing to make, we've got to make this
Yeah,
thing clear
I'm not saying
also.
that.
We have enough, exactly. We have also black people inside that actually are more enemies towards our people than the white man. So until we clean this up and we start to realize, our downfall is actually based on, our inside division, is not going to change. And tribalism and favorism, is actually one of our downfall also. So you're right. So what do you think we need? Do you think capitalism, is what we need in Africa to move us out of this situation?
Y'all have it. Y'all have all the negotiation power. Like y'all literally are sitting
Yeah.
on a gold mine. Like
Yeah.
literally. Like all the resources. If y'all sat there and said, okay, you want these resources, y'all have to pay in this centralized currency. Y'all just changed the whole game. Just that one move would change how everybody treats y'all across the whole world. But y'all refusal to unite is why they can go like this. Why? Because you said they have tribal wars. So
Yes.
this, for an example, I don't really know y'all politics. I don't really study y'all. I study American problems. But like this, look,
Okay.
if I'm a Nigerian, right,
Mhm.
and I don't like the Sudans, those are just the countries that pop up in my mind that off the first two, right? So if I'm a Nigerian and I don't like the Sudans, what's stopping me from going to the Sudan's government and pulling strings that's messing up their progression?
Yeah.
If I'm within, it's like an inside enemy, and I don't think you guys understand. Like until y'all deal with that, like y'all, because I know y'all don't look at slavery or stuff, but y'all should kind of look at why were they enslaved for that long? Like who keeps the people down that long? It can't just be
because honestly, we have some people in Africa, especially in West Africa. Some of these people are still happy to sell their own products, for their own tribes, or they're still happy to put the entire country or the region interest, and for the sake of their own tribe, and they
you know
done it
why?
years ago, and they still do it. Yeah.
They're doing it because of the currency fluctuation. So if this currency, that's why I say y'all should centralize as a continent. The people who get assassinated over there, like the Lumumba
But brother, how can we do that when the African Union is how can we do that when African Union is funded by by Western forces, like America funding African Union?
Y'all know who the targets. I at the end of the day, y'all gonna have to pick. This what it is. Y'all either gonna be country first or continent first. That's the bottom line for y'all. If y'all want to be country first, that's cool. It's gonna be other countries doing better than other countries. But until y'all become continent first, and that means centralizing the resources as a collective, coming to a table as a collective, and actually the African diaspora that y'all looking for outside of Africa, if y'all unite as a collective and start doing negotiations as a collective, y'all are the biggest in the room. I don't think y'all understand y'all are the biggest in the room. But if I can pull one to the side and talk to him and get a deal over here, and pull one to the side and get another deal with him over here, y'all don't have that mentality. Y'all will never be the superpower that y'all are really destined to become. Like y'all literally could change it in a month. Literally a month of serious negotiations and policy redistributing. Y'all can literally save yourself, man. And I know, like, because y'all situation is way easier than ours. I feel like y'all personally kind of like
I mean it is easy. I mean but sadly we sit on the 60% 60 of the world arable land is in the continent of Africa as we speak, right? And also we have 30% of the world natural resources, but we still, for example, import most of the food that we eat, and only 30% of in fact, 100% of the resources that probably 99.99% of the resources that's been extracted out of the continent is not being processed, as final goods, before it is exported. So, we're still a digging ground, for the rich, and also, a charity case for the rich. This is the problem that we have, and we don't have I don't know if we have the expertise in the continent, to actually do most of the stuff that we actually need to do anyway. But even if there are people of African descent that have the expertise to do that, they will be happy to go and work for the European, to be in the limelight, and at the same time to get a tap on the on the back, say, oh, well done, even though you're African, but at least you're a smart guy, well done, mate, you done well. You helped us actually made the internet possible. You're part of our, Anglo-Saxon history now, and stuff like that, than taking that expertise knowledge to an average Nigerian university and actually teach these kids, how to code or how to do a lot of this stuff. So this can be scaled, stuff like that. They wouldn't do it. It's also a mindset. When you have people that have their lack of patriotism is the key to this kind of stuff. That's why I said national service is a key, because when you have a national service, you teach this kid about patriotism, and I believe history should be number one subject in all schools in Africa, because all our kids need to learn from, for example, go back before slavery, because our history and colonialism, some Africans in the dust, their history is probably good started off, doing colonialism or tribal war, slavery. But my history did not start with colonialism, tribalism, or slavery. My history in West Africa as a Fulani person started, way before that. We actually were out of Africa civilizing the people that claim to be civilized today. We rule upon people that are ruling upon us today. We settling on their land. People that came to settle in Africa, we already been in their land, settled in their land for over 100 years and show them the way. So the reality, we've done it before. We can do it again. But I believe there's more obstacle today, in working, in basically in making these things happening than it was back in the days. So that's why it's much more, that's what makes it harder, because information is out there. And a lot of these countries invest a lot of money in misinformation. For example, like the CIA, they will actually infiltrate, good governance and stuff like that. So it will make things impossible to happen, and nearly impossible. It is possible, but they will make it nearly impossible for it to happen if there's no will or patriotism in the ground. Because you have people in Africa that come from, for example, Nigeria, that will say they want Nigeria to fall apart. They don't want Nigeria to work, or they don't want Nigeria to succeed. And you have people in Sierra Leone who will say, oh, we don't want Sierra Leone to work or succeed and stuff like that. So how are you going to build a nation when these people are not patriotic at all?
Sorry, can I? Oh, truth speak, I apologize.
Yes, of course.
You can talk, OG.
I think I disagree with that last statement. First of all,
Okay.
You don't need the majority to buy in. You just need a few that have a goal to start it. When the others who are the majority see the level of progress, they will fall in line. It's just human behavior.
Where did that work?
That first.
Where did that work in the past?
Yeah, let me give an example, because it was
yes.
going to point to my point that I actually came up to talk about when you talk about the Nigerian diaspora that don't have interest in going back home because they're not patriotic and they will rather work for the white man. I disagree. If you look at the Chinese, the Indian model of the way they've attracted their own diaspora, they made them an asset, right? They made their own diaspora an asset. Those that left by their own volition and those that they purposefully sent out there to learn skills in these various institutions, right? So some were purposefully sent out there to learn Because I know earlier you raised the question that do we have enough Africans in diaspora to do in Africa? In some areas, yes. But in what we really need for growth, I think is outside Africa, that knowledge based, skill based. So we have enough of them, but the African content is not doing enough to attract its people back home. Okay,
Great point.
So if you look at the Indian model, if you look at the Chinese model, they've shown you that it is possible to attract not just the one that you to send out there to learn, but those that went out on their own to venture to grow and to prosper abroad. So we should look at those countries and see how we can, some way, make some modifications as well, and make use of our diaspora, their assets. They want to come home. They want to help our nations grow, but we've not done enough to attract them to come home. So I think I would not say that they just want to work for white men abroad. I think we as Africans, those home, have not done enough to show that we have
it's more comfortable. It's more comfortable for them.
No, but look at what India did. India was so desperate to get some of their people back home. I think
they are still poor though. They're still struggling.
No. Let me finish.
China, maybe yes.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Where I'm coming from. There was a time, parts of India actually, they designed cities that look like Dallas, that look like cities in America. They literally were building areas to make it look like it was America for people coming home. So they were deliberate, is my point. So let me give it my hometown, my home state, Ogun State, has a man that I think owns Gatwick Airport in the UK. I've used him as an example before. Ogunlesi.
Yes, I heard of him.
Ogunlesi is a billionaire, right? He has no single portfolio in Nigeria of investment. And it's from my state. So ask yourself, how come a Yoruba Nigerian businessman, a billionaire that has that much influence and with all this hedge fund management, has no single investment in his own country? And is a billionaire. So have you done enough to attract them to invest in the country? So it's on the government to look into that, is my point.
Yes. I think like the basics, I think the government needs basics like water, roads, electricity, and or most of all, security. These are basic things. If they can prove, the rest of it will just take a time. I can imagine people come in and actually do well. Like for example, us Sierra Leonean diaspora, we have a very highly educated diaspora group, and we are spread around the world. And because they've been out of the country for so long, I can't even count what century. Probably, is that no longer Sierra Leone, and some of them been out there before. And they have never returned to the country. And these guys are highly educated because we had good institutions in the country before the war, and they came here and they just, excelled. But a lot of these guys, did not go back to the country. Now we have no war in Sierra Leone, and the government currently have constructed roads, and I know electricity is a problem. In fact, recently I saw a guy, he's actually from the Western area. He probably got the same tribe as you are, because the Creole people in Sierra Leone, some of them have Yoruba ancestry. I saw what he was doing. He was helping some of the local community that live along the Atlantic Ocean to use salt water from the sea to actually power their electricity, at home, where they can actually use it to, the fan, the fan that you have when it's so hot in a bedroom and stuff like that, and provide lights, for the kids to study and stuff like that, at home if there's a blackout, like little innovations like that. We don't have people that have the know-how, that will return in the continent and teach and also provide these innovations. And also there's probably people with money in Nigeria or in Sierra Leone that will be able to say, yeah, I like this idea. I want to put money in there instead of having to go, to China or to Dubai to go and buy fans or to go and buy generators, because this kind of innovation is what the money is in, and this is what supports us more. And also it's very green. and it kind of goes with the people's culture, and it works perfectly with the environment. Because we need to do things our own way. We can't keep doing things. We cannot try to do things like the West or the East. We need to do it like Africa. Until we start having this sort of mindset, it won't change. Because the reality is, we can try and have electricity, in Africa, in the super grid, like building a nuclear, power, or a diesel engine to power the entire country. But we know it's not sustainable in the long term. We need to, or we can actually say, yeah, let's go green. But also, that's not, the only way, because you cannot just rely on green energy, because it's not, it's not an easy thing to actually rely on. You know that, I know that. So we need to try different things and actually make them different things that works for our people. But we cannot just keep copying what the West is doing all the time and think we can actually adapt that to our culture or to our people, because it's not going to work.
Al, can I jump in?
Yeah, of course, Caesar. You're welcome.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I don't think we should just replicate the West or the East. You can't just replicate people, because we have a unique environment. Africa is a unique context. However, I don't think Africans do a good job of replicating the parts of the rest of the world that actually works. And they don't replicate these things very well. They don't replicate it at all. Like, I know in Saudi Arabia, they built in Nigeria, they built this massive power plant in Abia State, and it took them 20 years to build it, man. And it's a big accomplishment, because who else is doing that in that region? In West Africa, who else is building massive power plants, right?
Can I correct something real quick? Sorry, just to correct the point. It didn't take them 20 years to build it. They already had it there since 2004. The problem is that they were bogged down with various litigations.
Okay,
so it was there. It was just the bureaucracy that was that.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah, it took 20 years to work, right? 20 years to work. In other countries, I saw a power plant. It's double the capacity. It took 5 years in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I know we're not Saudi Arabia, and it costs less. That's the craziest part too. So it's like, we don't really replicate. Why is there such a bureaucracy issue? Why can't we solve it? And people don't really want to solve these things. So I agree with, like, we don't need to just copy the West or the East, because that makes no sense. But it's like, if we're gonna copy them, like, why don't we copy what works? If a plant takes 5 years to build in Saudi Arabia, I want people to sit down and say, why can't we build this in 5 years? And let's talk about it. Why can't we build bridges in 5 years? Why is it taking us 20 years? Let's have these conversations. Let's say there's a topic. Why did this bridge take 20 years? We problem solve. Why did it take 20? And we solve those issues, because it shouldn't take 20 years to build bridges or plants. Because if the people were copying, it takes them 5 years. You see what I'm saying? So, most Africans, I'd be okay with Africa that was a replica of America if that meant bridges are built in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And most Africans are okay with that. So, I mean, that's what I have to propose, I guess.
But
great point.
Apologies. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, I just want to say, I think it's going to take like that length of time, because of the currency valuation. Like I said, I mean, y'all kind of like, the world is telling y'all in so many different ways, like the with the BRICS thing, right? BRICS needed y'all. Like, it wasn't really, like, at least for us over here in America, we didn't really care until y'all was over there. Until, like, y'all got involved in the politics. Like, we didn't really care about the Russia and China. Like, we didn't really care about that. Like, we've been dealing with that. Y'all don't understand. Like, y'all are like the golden child that's sacrificing y'all capabilities to spoon feed the world, And I feel like y'all can still feed the world, like, if that's what y'all want to do, or whatever, like, y'all owe. But I feel like the way that y'all like need to be able to come to the table with what y'all true value. And as long as y'all going like individuals, I'm always go back to that. As long as y'all go as individuals, y'all aren't like, if y'all came as a movement, like, the president is just one person, but he has to have a whole military behind him to really be viewed as the threat that the president really is. And as long as like money, the money fluctuation, like it take like 80, I'll say for example, like 80 bills to compare to one USD, y'all playing a losing game, you know, because money is supposed to be backed off the resources. And when it take off the resources, y'all do all the exporting. And America, we import a lot of stuff, right? We do certain stuff here, but we import a lot of stuff. By y'all exporting everybody, that means a lot of people, a lot of different nations get fed through y'all. So y'all being down and not knowing what y'all sleeping on is allowing everybody else to climb up the totem pole. And that's just what I'm trying to like express with you guys to come up with ideas that'll move you guys forward, because y'all literally have all the natural resources for a lot of devices, for a lot of everything, and y'all aren't fully leveraging it because you guys are staying, y'all are being individual agencies instead of let me go to Africa and go talk to the Africans as a collective to go get certain stuff, you know. And
Do
until y'all do
you know my American brother? Do you know one thing? I think the big mist that we had in West Africa in the last 10, 15 years is after the civil war ended in Sierra Leone and Liberia. And then, you know, the Ghana government, you know, what they did is they undercut the land of the African Americans, you know, by actually, you know, advertising return home to Ghana to the people that actually sold them as slave at the first place. Because the reality is, if Liberian Americans or African Americans were to work together, including the Sierra Leoneans, you know, those two countries would have been back into their heyday again, and that would have enabled us to actually export our knowledge base that we had in the past, and also connect with the African Americans, you know, in the diaspora, with the African brothers genuinely, you know.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you though. I don't think like
Talking about West Africa.
the FBAs or the African Americans or whatever.
No, forget the
I don't.
FBAs. The FBAs,
we don't really talk about going back home to Africa. Like, I'm here just to help y'all because I understand. Like I just study.
I understand. I appreciate that. But you guys in America need to be careful also, because at the moment you've been targeted big time by the current administration.
Oh yeah, we
know,
always
who
been
is
targeted.
actually. Yes, no, but it's what we're seeing, like what Chukwe is actually just wrote on the chat, is really concerning, where Hispanic and Latinos are in your neighborhoods. You know, these guys are really racist, and they got their own hidden agenda. You know, and basically trying to replace you know our brothers' communities over there, and it's really concerning. And however, you must have a higher class Black Americans with wealth, with the know-how, who are actually, you know, at the moment are sleeping on the wheel also, you know, because these are the guys that should be working with the brothers in the continent to actually try and build new stuff, you know, because you see brothers like Dynas going out, you know, he's doing his best, you know, to exposing the possibilities out there, and also you see actually connecting with government to help people to reconnect back to their ancestral home. But if we have when BC the Yoruba brother that came on, what he was saying earlier, if you were to have the Black African diasporan and the Black Americans who have interest in the continent with the skill base and the knowledge base, if they to come together, you know, I think that's where it will work. You don't need the entire Black African American nation. You don't need the entire Black West African nation, but because we are very similar, we are the same people, you know, West African and African Americans, whether you like it or not, inside our blood, we are the same people, you know. And if we actually are to reconnect again, because you've got a land called Liberia, it's there waiting for you. You know, you had things done in the past in Sierra Leone also. If you are to bring these things back again, you know, it will actually make a massive difference, because, you know, we exported institutions and, you know, different institutions along the region. But for some reason, it stopped somewhere, because America, you know, wanted to be the replacement of the French and the British in West Africa, because in a way they are still they replace the colonial masters. You know, they have replaced them, because you know American they have big influence in West Africa. and the entire African continent.
Don't blame Africa. Don't blame America. It's Africa's fault.
No, I am not. I'm not playing. No, I'm not. I'm just saying what's happening, and it's our fault for not, doing what we're supposed to do. Because if you don't take care of your own family, someone else come in to look after your own family.
Exactly.
You have no right to actually criticize them, right, Caesar?
Exactly. Africa has to take You look at the literacy rates. I mean, across Africa, you're gonna cry, man. So we can't blame America. It's our fault for not educating these kids.
Yeah, but slightly to the point that Truth was saying earlier, I think I disagree slightly about the value of the currency and whatnot. I mean, China devalues the currency all the time. It's the purchasing power of your people because that actually benefits your exports if you properly devalue. So I wouldn't say we are looking for a 1-to-1 ratio. I think it's more of the purchasing power and devaluing the currency to benefit your export market. I think that's more. So I wouldn't really dwell too much on the ratio. I think it's more of the purchasing power and how much you export. That would really be that. But my point earlier that was raising in regards to African diaspora being an asset. Now, if you want to include Black America into it, so be it. I think that's where the disconnect is. And if you can solve the problem, and like Al will also agree with me that we don't need the majority to buy in. I think that's the mistake we keep making. Everybody has to jump. No, you just need a few. A few starts it, and it takes a life of its own from there. I think that's what we're missing. This idea that everybody has to combine their way into the African dream is what I think we're missing. You need those that have the vision, that also have the resources and the technical know-how to start it. Once they start making progress, everybody will buy into it because most people, unfortunately, want to see it. It's like an evidence-based practice, like we say in medicine. You want to see it first before you believe it. Doubting Thomas's syndrome. So you want the smart ones with the IIQ, like Kaiser wants to join on. Once they start it, and it's evidence that it's working, those beneath them will start falling in line, and it sparks the great movement from there. So I think that would be so. Let's find a way to bridge the gap of our diaspora should be an asset, and the government has to be deliberate about it, very deliberate about making them an asset. And look,
they don't want the government doesn't want the diaspora involved. We already know that.
No. Some of them do, some of them don't. Is that how it is done? Those
ones at the top don't. I mean, one of Ned Moko was talking about
Caesar,
diaspora voting, for example. People were crying.
Let me tell you. Hold on. Let me tell you what's missing here. They do, but they want them to also serve their interest. So if I say I want to come and bring a company or a business, they'll ask you, okay, what can I benefit from it? So it's like a win-win situation. Okay, if I want to come to Nigeria, wonderful. How does it benefit Nigerians? But how does it benefit me? MT and all those companies that are serving Nigeria in the right way, they also benefit those politicians. They have shares in those companies, unknown to many people. Nigerian politicians have shares in Dangote, in MTN, in LT. They have shares. They have interest in those companies. So that's the way they see things. So they
do it in an ignorant way. Like, for example, we're talking about that plant. You said, it took 20 years because of bureaucracy, right?
Right.
People want to cut. It's low IQ, right? It's like saying, we're not going to teach anyone in the town how to read so I can stay in power. Like, it's just low. It's such a low IQ way of making sure you make money out of what's going on and keeps the whole population poor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so low IQ. Like,
because if you can actually steal funds and just, like I always say, if you're a Nigerian or African corrupt billionaire, steal the money and invest the money in power. Nobody will care. If you give Nigerians power from the stolen wealth, nobody will give a fuck about you stealing money.
Of course, in every country,
nobody will care if you steal the money and you build manufacturing companies and businesses and people are employed. Nobody will care that you stole the money.
BT,
you even make more money, and people are happy. Everybody wins.
BT, you see how people talk about how we're gonna follow, like, all these congressmen when they buy and sell stocks. You can they have to report it, and people started copying them because they were making hella. A congressman knows. We're gonna vote on this bill.
I copied Nancy Pelosi. I made almost 600% on Nvidia stocks.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
I get your point. That's what I'm saying.
People are stealing everywhere. It's just in
you see my
Africa, they
point?
don't feel the way like that. Kind of makes sense, kind
Do you
of.
see my
You know?
point? Everybody, Nancy buys it. I do too. Everybody wins. That's it.
I mean,
Yeah, I wanted to respond to
Great.
the currency statement you said, BT. But the currency, regardless, I think I think Africa actually like 3 point something times the size of China. The difference between China and Africa is the policies and the infrastructure and stuff that China do. So China do a lot of exporting of devices and a lot of other things, a lot of security embassies or whatever they do to cover that cost of money. The thing I'm talking about with Africa, when I say the currency is being lowered, because regardless, China still give out loans to Africa. You know, they're still giving out loans to Africa in certain different regions in the area. So that's really what I really want to say about the currency. The currency is important to me. I feel like because y'all still haven't centralized the bill based off y'all resources, you know, and then kind of change the game. That's the only reason why I bring up the currency. Y'all continent is too big to go from country to country to compare. And then I wanted to say to Al too before I get off. You said the Mexicans. It's a bill that they just passed, the SB4 bill that the Democrats is trying to keep blocking. We're not really worried about we're not worried about them. No disrespect. We wish everybody well in America, but we're not worried about nobody. We've been doing this. We've been doing this for 500 plus years, and at the end of the day, I feel like we're damn near irreplaceable with all of the contributions we made here, and that's how I feel about it. So I know people be saying like, "Oh, the Latinos is gonna replace you." The Latinos will impress me as an FBA when they beat the Trump card. When they beat the Trump card and they breeze right past that, and they breeze past the deportation stage. Once they beat that stage, and then it's like, yeah, we did that, we still here, and they don't need no help for that. Then we could talk about, oh, they're going to replace FBA. We do, because we don't do that. Like, we don't link on to nobody to handle our issues. We handle our issues as a collective, and we deal with them by ourselves. You know, they these here clink on to us for a plight to address their issues, and that's how I feel about it. They need us to.
I hope so, because I hope so. But I mean, African American brothers, you are always welcome in the continent. But one thing I notice about you brothers, you don't understand the opportunities that you got out there. It's not a lot of people. I know the history of slavery is horrendous, beyond any comparison, right? But you are strong, resilient people for going through what you're going through, and you're still there. However, the reality is, one thing you should not ignore is your ancestral home, which is actually the future, right? So you don't want to miss out on that, because if you miss out on that by just focusing in America, by having your eggs in one basket, one day, not you, but your children will be asking, why did my daddy not warn me about this? Because the reality is, we have a continent that is so blessed, and we have, leaders that are so corrupt and so basically destructive. And also we need talent, and people, our communities, whether the African American or the Africans, in fact, in the continent, we are so divided. It's about time we look, out to one another and see where we can actually sit around the table and see where we can move forward, whether it's under the banner of Pan-Africanism, or whether it's the banner of pro Pan-African capitalism, whatever that makes it work, and connect the people back and forward is the best way forward. Because the reality is, you look at countries like Haiti, they're struggling today, in right next to the US, right? And you look at countries like Jamaica, even though they do well in terms of tourism, they still haven't reached their potential. We in the continent, the African Union, have never reached out to any of this government in the Caribbean to actually see what kind of new alliance we could build. The only alliance that's actually working is through the internet, through people to people, connection. And you can see just by little bit how it's actually working. Because years ago, me and you would have never spoke, in together. We can never share our knowledge, and our cultures, years ago. But now we are able to do this. So it's something that we need to keep doing in a positive way. And also this FBA or ADOS and stuff like that, I think these things need to be put away because it's not going to help us, and also these African brothers in Africa thinking, African American got 30% of European DNA, they're not Africans. They need to bury that because not all Africans in the continent are
all right, actually, let me say a few things. So, what about the FBA members that passed away, that already went over to Africa? What about those that passed away over there that tried to the few that you're talking about that went over there
to speaker, there's of course you're gonna have cases like that. So so if anybody's gonna be discouraged, of course people are gonna be discouraged. But to this idea that you're gonna return to Africa or make your move and it's gonna be all smooth and steady, no, you're gonna have ups and downs. It's just part of transition. So I'm not saying it was good, whatever has happened to people, but don't let that discourage you and just plan better. Just know how you move with the culture. Just know how, it's a different culture, it's a different environment. The mentality that you have, it has to change. So it's the way it's like me going to the Middle East too. I have to plan my way better. So the next person coming knows, okay, when you go there, talk to people over there before you go. If they have citizens in your country before you go, talk to them over where like if you go to Nigeria, talk to Nigerians that live in America. How is it back?
BT, sorry, I apologize. SI, just to get what Truth was saying. What my point is, in I live in the UK. They got what they call the Five Eyes. You have the Australia, Canada, England, and America. So, but in the UK, most of the British citizens, right? If they had enough of England, what they tend to do, they tend to go to Canada, or they go to Australia. And the Aussies, I worked with different Australians in the UK, in Bristol here. Because when they had enough for Australia, they come and seek back their ancestral home in Europe, in England. They come back here. You know what I mean? It's that opportunity that's there that, we should be taking the advantage of. These are people, and when they come here, they do face trouble as well. Like one of the girls I used to work with, Kiara, she was Australian. She actually was crying in the office every day because she's struggling to get her stay in the UK renewed by the Home Office. Yeah, and she was facing her own dramas, and even the British, some of them, call her Aussies and all kind of names like kangaroo, crocodile eaters and stuff like that. They do face their own things, but when it come down to uniting against the outside interest, they always stick together. So this is the mindset that we don't have, and is a mindset that need to change. That's what I was trying to say, Truth. But yeah, BT, I apologize for cutting you off.
No, I think Truth was just telling about. I think if I get it correct, it was a story about the lady that got killed in the Gambia, right? Truth?
Yeah, it's a few that got killed, but it was recently they broadcast about. I was just
we need to focus on these African brothers who are out there in the internet spreading hate against FBA in Africa. We need to focus on these people because this is coming from somewhere. Africans will not just come out in the street and start targeting Black Americans in the continent without a reason. Someone must be on the internet spreading hate and fake news and propaganda against the Black American families that are coming to their ancestral land that they do have the right to claim more than anybody else. So if I was an African American, the last person that would tell me that I'm not African is the average African who sold my ancestors. That would be the last person that I would listen to, because I wouldn't even blink an eye. I would be like, you know what? Sorry.
I would disagree slightly on that, because I think that most of the Africans are even anti-FBA or whatever you believe FBA is, because they have different versions of it. I think they're like Africans online. I don't think Africans in Africa actually give it two right hands about online discussion. I think it's probably those online diaspora that are Africans that even entertain that. not to the point
Right.
where it affects the African. I don't know any Nigerian that was like, oh, online somewhere. Those in Nigeria,
I've been living in the continent for
Exactly.
I don't think they
I'm
have
like,
that time to.
how many Africans don't care about what's going on in America? They got their own issues. And the Africans in America, what percentage of the time do they spend bad
on
mouthing
the internet? Yeah, I don't
Right.
think that's.
Come on. Half
All
these
right, let me-
guys work 70-hour weeks. They don't have time for all that shit.
No, the reason
So-
why this whole FBA thing basically
I don't
started-
like the term FBA.
I'm
I
saying-
like Black American
just
or
saying,
African
yeah,
Americans.
I know, but I'm just saying FBA. This is what I attribute to. But like, well, from my recollection, it started with the "we don't have no culture." That's that statement right there from, I think it was Burna Boy and all that. That was a snowball.
But truth speaker, see that's what I'm telling you. Let me clarify something. Burna Boy never said you didn't have culture. If you just go, so this is the problem. I'm not blaming you, but because he had to clarify that, and actually I had to go do some research. He never said African Americans didn't have culture. What he was saying is that due to slavery, that they lost part. He wasn't talking about you. Like, you don't have it. That's, please, if you have time, go listen to actually what he said, not to what people are putting on there as sound bite.
They asked him about it multiple times. Regardless,
No.
I don't really. We got a prestigious.
No.
Nah, he never said that. I watched.
Never said that. He said,
People are just sensitive.
never, I'm telling you, he never said that he didn't have culture.
You guys, this is how it looks to us. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, look, because y'all, I don't know if you guys are in America, right? So I'm just.
We are in America, and I'm telling you. Come on.
No, now Africans have said that before, but Burna Boy didn't say that.
No, he did not, because I've been a Burna Boy fan for.
If it was Akon or Burna Boy, regardless, it got brought up. I don't want to even put it on.
Right, but he was the face of what they made.
As a general statement, it was a conversation at one point in time that people said it. I know that you guys are advocating and reaching out the olive branch, but a lot of us are the FBA. A lot of us, we're just cool here. We almost at the last stage of our salvation here, and we've been here. We went through a lot of stuff here. For us to just massively, or even if 40% of us just say, okay, let's go over there and go help Africa. It'd be a hard adjustment for me outside listening to your panels. It'd be the FBA treatment over there. Afrodamus even brought it up because his passport, and he's from there. He's actually from there. And they was treating him a little different based off his passport or how he is or the pricing and certain stuff he was speaking on in himself. And he's an African, so we see it. It's a two-side story. Like, and that's why I tried to come up here to give clarity to where we can actually try to find a solution as a melanated people. I want to.
But when you use like,
do you know the truth? The sad
no. Let me clarify something.
Yeah, sorry.
So the way we speak is very important. So the truth, when you talk about you're going to Africa to help, to African culture, they will rebel against using such words because they hate the handout mentality. So even the way you communicate what you're planning to do, you have to understand the culture of that place. You see my point? So you have to also understand the culture. You can partner with them, but if you say I'm coming to help you, they're going to rebel against it. So how you approach what your goal is very important. So like I said,
if we come to help, that's a problem.
Because
you have to understand the way they perceive things.
There's benefits on both sides. This whole help idea.
Yeah, you say
Malcolm X went over there.
Hold on. Truth, please. You will say something mutually beneficial. Like they feel like you're helping, but they're also helping you too in return. But if you say, I'm here to help you, they feel like they're culturally. I'm telling you from a cultural perspective, they don't perceive that well. They don't like being seen. Like, so you have to make it like something mutually. How you communicate what you want to do is very important to my point. So culture, I think that's what I've been trying to get at. Building that bridge, you must understand where you're going to. So people that are having problems in Africa, I'm noticing a pattern where they just watch a YouTube video, somebody asked them to come there, they didn't do their research. So you have to understand the culture of where you're going to. And Africa is not a monolithic culture. It varies from place to place. You can go to Lagos and
BT, you're so right. Because truth, if you go to Liberia, you go to Sierra Leone, you will never experience any of this issue. Do you know why? Because African Americans and Caribbean been living there for hundreds of years. They never they never face this sort of issue. But if you were to go to another country, neighboring, for example, Guinea, which is more conservative, you might find a bit of, you know, you might encounter a bit of issue that you would not get in Sierra Leone or Liberia. That is basically, that's what I think BT is trying to explain. You know, culturally, countries are also different in the continent, and yes, someone mentioned, you mentioned Afrodemos. Afrodemos do criticize people. Afrodemos people, his tribe and my tribe do a very close, you know, in alliance in always throughout history. But he criticized my tribe all the time. I called many argument over the show, but I don't take it personal, right? And stuff like that. So there's certain things we need to put the emotions aside, and you know, when someone criticizes us, we just need to look at it as a family. You know, because sometimes the only people that criticize you, you know, is people that really like you. They're saying it because they want you to see the ugly side, you know, of you that you cannot see yourself. You know, it's not because they hate you. And I don't think, yeah.
No, we was only on him because he was like basically like cosplaying. That's the only reason why we really cared. But the whole help thing, and I'm gonna leave it at this, because I don't. Is it the term help itself that make y'all feel like, is that a triggering word?
Well, because it's not accurate.
No. Caesar, let me speak.
Yeah. Okay.
The reason why Pan-Africanists have failed over the years is that when they are coming to Africa, they have this mentality of, we are going there to help and save them. We don't need that kind of this thing. If you come, you want to make money and make money with us, fine. That's what we want. We don't want you to come here to help us. We don't need help.
That's what y'all said.
We're not looking for help.
So
the problem. If you have the mindset,
wait, please. So do you see how we rebelled against that word? I'm like cultural understanding of the way they perceive words is what I'm trying to communicate here.
Okay. I want to say, so what's the difference?
They have the resources, they have the land, they have Diasporan. So if you make it a partnership where I'm coming to for some expertise, you have the resources, let's collaborate, they'll welcome the idea. But when you use the word help, they're going to rebel against that. It's not
okay.
Just
and I'll be careful with that word.
BT, let's not be hypocritical here. This is the same thing the white liberal would use, the same word they will use, and African would be still happy with it, and they will still.
I was just going to say that. I'm glad you being
transparent. Let's be honest. We are discussing black people here about us. Remember, if I say white people, it's not us, but we're discussing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's the difference.
Family. Okay.
Forget white people right now. We're just discussing us now as a family. Now.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you need to understand the way people communicate. Like if you go to the north and say, I want to help you, you know what happens. So it's just, so just be careful with the language. It's the truth.
It's not just a language thing. Imagine you told a girl like, oh, I'm going to date you in order to help you. Like, I'm only going on this date to help you out.
Why are you? That's not a good comparison, bro.
No, it is. It's the same exact thing. Like, imagine you told a girl, like, yo, I'm going on this date just to help you.
Can I give an analogy after him?
I think we are getting this thing wrong. Because if you look at it, what Africa needs is investment that will benefit Africa and Africa Black in America. And it's already happening in Africa. So we don't need anything beyond that. We don't need us
you're right.
And be crying and be hugging each other. No, we don't need that. You make money, we make money. That's
well in Africa as we speak. There are a lot of Black Americans doing well in Africa as we speak. Definitely, and they are actually there. Yeah.
But all right,
you're a cool brother. You're a cool brother.
Yeah. All right, this is my main difference about, like, I understand the help word. Okay, right. It may be assistance or whatever. I don't know what word y'all would like to be to switch it with.
You can say like a partnership, mutually beneficial. Yeah, you see that. Yeah,
it's kind of like it's like a help. We'll be
collaboration. Yeah, collaboration. Yes,
collaboration. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Kaiser.
All right, look, because they all like synonyms of each other. But this is what I'm saying. When other outside communities come out, and because they say help, right? Aren't they, like, when they're helping with the infrastructure or building bridges or doing this or going to South Africa and leading whatever they innovate over there, wouldn't that all be considered as a help? Because it can't be considered as collaboration, because y'all just said earlier that y'all can't go with certain people. Like when it was the riot thing, y'all was trying to get over to South Africa, and they was there fighting y'all against it. You know, fighting y'all from just, I don't know what the end goal, whether y'all was gonna try to destroy it or whatever. I don't know. It didn't go that far, right? But my whole thing is saying is just about that word. Like if certain words trigger y'all, the will is there. You know, like I have my own issues from my own lineage. I'm here trying to give insight to help you, insight that I feel like you don't have to take it. But if you could challenge me or it can be somewhat beneficial, I don't mind giving input towards the situation, you know. But the
we
whole
like your input, and we think you're one of the most civilized spoken, you know, brother that we had coming here. You know, you got that something, you know, your energy is really good. Also, we can tell. And the only thing is these guys have a different angle of the whole thing. But for me, I think it's a little bit hypocritical to think that, you know, you saying the word help is actually an issue, but then we're happy for other people to say they're coming to help us, and we're happy to hear that word. But anyway, moving on. Yeah.
All right, this my fault. Let me just add this in to close it off the statement, so it's no confusion here. The reason why I say that is because as far as like an ethnic group, the FBAs are one of the most, out of the melanated people, we are one of the richest groups as a collective. You know, so when I say, okay, you telling us to split up and go over there, we're bringing a lot of things that can help over there, like the culture, or even not certain part of the aspects of the culture. I don't condone, you know, but like the culture itself, as far
which
as
part of the culture, which part of the culture you're not fan of?
Even
Yeah, because I don't want to. I don't want to paint the FDA with a brush, with one single brush, because the version of it that I've heard is very anti-African. Maybe if I'm wrong, you can tell me, truth speaker. It's very anti-African. We don't want anything to do with Africa. So that's the version of FBA I always hear.
FBA is like a new phenomenon. That's
right. Okay.
It's not like before then. We was Pan-African. We was the going hard for y'all, Pan-African. We seen y'all like no, I know that's not real. Like in what?
Yeah, but why is that new version? Why is that the Tariq Nasheed? Those ones are very more vocal than what you consider as traditional FBA, like you. Why are they more vocal than your version of it?
I think. Oh, you could answer if you got an answer for it.
No. Go ahead, please. Truth.
Oh no, but I feel like truthfully, Tyreek and them, they're a little older than me, so they may have seen they may have seen like the track record of the partnership or the collaboration between us, and they seen like how it could be viewed as one sided, you know, like because we trying to do our salvation over here, and then we have like certain African people over here that's kind of like in the mix. So I think like when you see Tariq and them and they be going off, I think it's just a lot of like frustration dealing with just trying to get the salvation that we have. I feel like that's what it can be.
Do you think Tariq Nasheed have done a lot to destroy the black community, you know, the relationship between the black African American and the Africans? Yes, Ola. You calling me?
The truth of the matter, I will let you know this, okay? Because I listened when you were addressing some in one program, I think yesterday. You know, you came out and you start asking them why are they like this. The truth of the matter with black Americans is you can't really trust them, man. Let me just be honest to you. Not just black Americans.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them, but majority of them, you cannot really trust them. Because you know I said something like that? This problem you see, not just only them, it seems like the African descendants that took long time to Western world. I'm not talking about the Caribbeans that live in Caribbean, but the ones that are really United States, they're very anti-African. You understand me?
Well, I think the Caribbeans are more anti-African than African American, based on my experience, and you know that because you live in the UK. You know how hostile Jamaicans are towards Africans. They don't hide it.
Has he
The
ever
African
been in America?
American, no, Ola lived in America and he lived in the UK, and he
You
knows
lived in
that,
America,
right?
Ola?
Yeah, I've been to America, but didn't live there. But I've been there. I stay a lot of times there. Let me just be
But
honest with you.
Caribbeans are more hostile to African than Black
Yeah,
Americans.
yeah, but
Definitely.
why I said it is
Yeah.
might be, yeah. If you come
Yeah.
across some Black Americans that know that you're an African, some of
Yeah.
them will like you. They'll say, "Oh man, you're African, man. You cool." You
Yeah.
understand me?
Yeah.
They will approach you differently. You understand me? But there are some. The moment they hear that accent,
Yeah.
they will be in a way distancing themselves from you. It's not their fault. You know, you can't really blame them because you see, when you be oppressed for too long and they use the word, "You're lucky you are here. You're lucky that you're the lucky ones to be here." For
Yeah.
those that sold you, you know, for all
Do
this
you
time,
know? Yeah.
yeah. So showing them movies about
Yeah.
Africa, especially that movie called Tarzan. That movie called Tarzan, my man.
I don't even know what that is.
That movie called Tarzan, is a propaganda that they used to destroy Africa. How can a white boy know how to jump on a tree? He's not the one teaching the Africans how to jump on the tree. You understand me? The white boy, they call it that Tarzan, that white boy, the Bigfoot, is under propaganda. And you have to understand, the white people were also drawing before movie started coming out. French have some books, comics that have Africans and the tail as a monkey in their ass. You understand? They took some Africans, I think for Congo, they put them on the cage somewhere in Belgium. I think United also. So if you are like closer to these people in terms of color and phenotype, you would be distancing yourself for these things. You understand me? So majority of them look down. Even when you speak, sometimes they'll say, "Oh, you know, you're African. You don't know it too much." You start hearing some of these words from their mouth. Oh yeah,
Okay.
in Africa, do you know it? No, you know you're African. You don't know it. You start looking at them. Okay, I don't know it. So the really trust issue when Tariq Rashid, Totok was already on the ground, but Tariq Rashid came out to blow it up.
He
in
did.
internet.
He did made big damage. I think between the
The guy, my brother.
Yeah.
Before I don't have problem with Black Americans. I don't really much think, but when I started seeing this guy, that was like, oh, one hand was Pan African. That's why I'm scared now. That Sierra Leone give them real salaries, the real country, say come back home without not those fake ones.
Not
You understand
anything
me?
attached to it. Yeah.
Yet Sierra Leone
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, take the
And
citizenship.
Liberia, our ancestors gave them lands in Sierra Leone and Liberia. That you see
Okay,
today.
I don't know, but the one I'm seeing
Well,
now,
Liberia is for actually African Americans. If you look at it, that's their land. It was given to them by our ancestor.
but you know,
That's why I said to my brother earlier, why did they went to Ghana instead of going back to Liberia to rebuild Liberia and with the Liberian communities that they fought with? That's the big mistake, because all that money
Sierra Leone
that
gives
they
them the
invest in
passport,
Ghana,
so
but Sierra Leone give them everything, including the land back in the days, because the black people from Virginia and some part of Canada were resettled in Sierra Leone around the 17th century. And also the majority of the black Americans were resettled in Liberia around that time. But you're talking about recently with the passport things. I'm talking about prehistoric, right?
Yeah.
So the fact is, during the war in Sierra Leone and Liberia, when they went back, because a lot of our people went to America and England and Canada, during the war. After all this finished, why didn't they go back to Sierra Leone and Liberia and rebuild these countries instead of going to Ghana? That's what I don't understand, because Ghana is no friend to them. Ghana just want the dollars. And I think it was a big mistake.
Oh yeah.
That's
That
why
Ghana is.
I was talking about doing proper research due diligence before traveling. So you study that people move to Liberia, like you mentioned earlier. The slaves that returned back to Africa was Liberian. So it would be easier for it to be that cultural connection with them. As opposed to going to. I mean, Ghana. Nigeria, you can go there,
Yes,
but
Gem, that's true. It's on the coast, but obviously over the years, this did resettle, as you know very well, Gem. Liberia and after the American Liberian mixed with the Congo, and in Sierra Leone, the Creole mixed with the local native, including our people.
yeah, but my earlier point was
No,
that
I'm responding to my brother Gem.
right. Okay. So I was just talking about my tweet earlier that the toxic nature of the FBA thing. That's why I wanted to get clarity from you before I say it, because each time anybody uses the word FBA, the first thing that comes to my mind is Tariq Nasheed, because that's the one I usually see. So, but and I don't know what the end game is for his own movement. And when you talk about collaborations, like Ola having some, at least not sure about that side of that so-called alliance. Africans, there's a continent, and you being in America, you don't have that much power because you're part of a larger society, which you are about 10 to 11% off. So they always look at the influence you have in the current climate that you are in, and what you've built in that climate. So looking at those dynamics will determine what kind of partnership will come out from whatever we come up with. So
Right.
so you must look at, okay, what influence do you own in where you live, and if you move to Africa, what impact what can you contribute? So that will determine the nature of the partnership. Okay, so that's what I wanted to add to what Ola was talking about. I mean, he has concerns. I think we should have consent on both sides, and also on both sides there are people
Y'all
that
gotta send a list of the words that y'all don't like.
Just studying. No. Any culture is not me just trying to be funny here. Any culture you want to go into, you have to just study the way they think, the way they talk, the way they act. Like in my own culture, like I don't know the word to use, but one man can better say it. We don't culturally, for the Yoruba people, we're never direct. Everything's almost poetry. Like, if you think I say one thing,
Yes.
I might mean something completely different, even though the word is what you think it is. So culturally, we never direct with words. You see my point? So if you don't, let's say you just show up there and you're very blunt and very vocal, they know what you're saying, but they're never going to respond in the same way, and that can frustrate you. So it's understanding those kind of things is what I'm trying to bring up here. I wasn't trying to be funny to speak.
Right, and can I just restate something that I said earlier? There's not all Caribbeans are anti-Africans. Like for example, the Jamaican, like the Rastafarian Jamaican that I know in the UK, they were really pro-Africa, and and some of the Rastafarian culture, is very entwined with the African culture. That's absolutely true. But however, we had what they call a group of Caribbean, which are not Rastas. These people are still hostile to African as I speak, and obviously, they don't hide it. They will tell you, you're a slave trade. You come from a slave trader family background. They don't, in fact, they will actually, if the white man is starving, or maybe it's not a good example, they will prefer to cuddle up to the white man than you, the African slave trader. They rather cuddle up to the slave trader than you, the one that sold them to slavery. So they will tell you that straight away, to your face, and they never hide the hostility towards Africans. So that's a fact. The reality is, personally, I did not experience that with African Americans. African American might have some, derogatory word towards Africans, but I don't know any, issue between Africans and Black Americans in the US where they actually engage in mass gang killing and shooting based on their ethnicity. And that's happening in London as we speak, where some boroughs in London where the Africans and the Jamaican kids were killing one another based on their nationality and their background, even though they are actually our brothers. Yeah. So we need to speak the truth if we want to come together. I think the Caribbeans, I find them to be more hostile towards Africans. And in fact, those that call themselves FBA in America, You guys need to find out really, are they those that are really hostile towards Black African? Are they the Caribbean Americans that are actually born there? Or are they the African Americans who are the people of the land that obviously was brought there? Are they the one that have been hostile towards us? Because immigrants, people that actually assimilate as immigrant can be more hostile than the native. Remember that, yeah?
Yeah. But the whole FBA thing, I know it may be like y'all, it's still new, but I don't think it's gonna go nowhere personally. It's more like a lineage-based thing and delineating, and those is like.
What do you say to them? That part of the culture that says that they're not even African, that they were Native Americans, that the whole slavery thing was false, and they have nothing to do with Africa. What do you say to that version
But big man, it's identity crisis.
No. I'm not trying to box into a corner because I'm trying to understand. So maybe I should zoom out like the FBA thing because I'm really interested in understanding the position. It's just like unfortunately the version I got clearly due to my own ignorance is not just that the main version. That's all the, like you said, the traditional viewpoints. Maybe they go, So I'm trying to understand. So those that say that they are FBA but they have nothing to do with Africa. What do you say to them? How do you deal with them when you have a conversation with them? Truth.
All right, because I think we just all melanated. Me personally, because just off of how Africa look, it's not really a distinct look. Like it's just like we all melanated. That's how I look at it. But on paper, I think like Africa got to kind of prove that up, man. Because on paper, as far as what's researchable, only 300,000 supposedly came to Africa, and I mean America. Out of Africa, and majority of them were based out in Southern America, as far as like the other like Latin America and South America. So that's where it's coming from, and in a way we kind of did go through our own. They say it's an ethnogenesis, as far as like with us who we were before it, and then what happened to us during it, and now who we are. But
you were saying that some came out of Africa. But their own version say that none came out from Africa, that they're solely Indian American.
Majority. I can help you.
Yeah, majority. Out, please stay with me. Please. Sorry. Out. Hold on, please. I'm going somewhere here. They don't want anything to do with Africa, or they don't believe that they're from Africa at all. Is what I'm trying to get clarity from Truth here. Is what I'm trying to.
I think. With those is like the extremes. Like, by being new, it's people that's like cool with, like, still open for conversation. Like me, I'm probably more of like a more considerate. I'm more willing. I still know we all like a family at the end of the day. So I know I'm from a different, I rep a different flag in a way, but I know we still all melanated. So I'm willing to talk to y'all. It's still people that's more extreme. That's on some, I don't want to do with them. We only focus on what we gotta do here, So I think that's more where that's coming from. But I never heard, me personally, out of the panels. I don't really have time to be on different panels like that. But out of the panels I heard, they bring up 300,000. They never say, oh, none of them came from Africa. They say some came from Africa, and we're just an amalgamated people of a gene pool based off of what we went through. That's what they basically say, like from the panels that I listen to, but in the end, we all kind of African, but we don't have.
What happened?
How you said, like with the help word, help is common to us over here. So if I would have opened a proposal with you guys and I would have said help, it would have triggered y'all, and I wouldn't have known. I'm sitting here. To me, help is no different than collaboration. But it's a distinct cultural difference, and that's what I think there's basing about that. It's mainly because of the slavery and the 300,000. It's why
right. So we need to learn from each other more about what triggers what the way we communicate or how it's perceived in other cultures, including yours too. So it's very important to. I'm also learning too from the Black Americans, so the way you communicate with them about, because I know. Like slavery, for instance, the way I talk to, I have to be very careful the way I talk about it. you can be objective, but also be very, very careful of people's, you know, the way they react. So it's understanding those kind of things when we communicate. I think it's very important to having these robust conversations, you know, on any platform. So yeah.
Because I personally don't think like slavery enough really bother us. It's kind of like to me, from me being in different platforms and going to talking to different people, like it's more like we're big. We accept everybody. Me personally, as my people, we accept everybody. We accept the Arab with the corner store. We accept the Latino that want to join the gang. We accept the Caucasian that want to come around us. So we are accepting everybody.
Do you think that move was detrimental to the culture? Like, if your state with that kind of Malcolm X stick together as opposed to the Martin Luther King, let's open up to everybody. Do you think it'd been better off?
I mean, we in a melting pot. Like we don't have the luxury that they don't have.
I'm saying like if you had a choice to like have, like, you know, back in the 60s before the whole thing, you had your own banks, you had your own community, you didn't really have to integrate before integration, I'm saying, of societies. Do you think you'd have been better off that way?
Me personally, it's like I'm like 50-50 because I can see the benefits of us staying in our own community, but I see the benefits of integration for a society advancement. So that's, if we would have stayed, you on this side, I stay on this side, it would have been at any moment, because it's still tension to this day. So if we were, you stay on that side, I stay on this side, we'd be one bad day away from just all out casualty. And that's how it looked like to me, you know. But I personally, I wouldn't mind if we had our own stuff, you know. But
to me, sorry, one second, Ibo. To me, I think segregation was the best thing for African American. Integration was the worst thing for African Americans, I think, because if you look at, you know, like Black Wall Street and so many things that you managed to achieve, you know, you achieve those things when you were segregated. And I think that's my personal view, by the way. I'm not going to impose that on you. Truth. I feel like Martin Luther King was a downfall to the Black population. X was a solution. And
hey, can I add to that real quick? Can I add to that real quick?
Yes.
And even I would say even Martin Luther King, towards the end of his life, started to understand that, and he said that he felt like he was integrating his people into a burning building. You get what I'm saying? So Martin Luther King eventually started to understand, and then that's when he got assassinated. He didn't get to finish the story. But I would say to my Black American brother, you know what I'm saying, that's on the panel, like, integration did not do good for us, period. And I would say you started to see the decline of our culture after integration. So directly after slavery, all the way up to the 1940s, Black American marriage rates was higher than whites. You can look it up. It was higher than whites. You know what I'm saying? But after we had our own everything, we had our own businesses, we had everything because we thought of ourselves as a nation, a separate nation of people. You know what I'm saying? Almost like a two-state solution. You see in Israel and with the Jews and the Palestinians, you know, the Palestinians, they want a two-state solution. And then the Israelis, they don't want that. They want a one-state solution. They want to assimilate the Palestinians into their way of life. You get what I'm saying? That's what happened to us. We got assimilated. So integration was pretty much it hurt us in the long run. It might have preserved us, but it hurt us in the long run. Honestly,
you think we'll want them using them helicopters and them laser light? You think honestly? I think it was necessary because the higher power allowed it to happen. I wasn't born in that time frame to have my inputs on it. It just kind of happened.
we have information at our disposal. We can look back and study history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand.
We can see what happened after integration, how our community started to decline. We can see that.
It kind of look. So say we stayed in segregation, right? Mm-hmm. What would have been the benefits of that? They were still destroying stuff.
Yeah. So like I was saying, look. So like I was saying, right? I think integration preserved us to a degree, but in the long run, it's not a long-term solution. It's really not a long-term solution. The only long-term solution is really to either establish our own separate state in America, where we have some type of power, military, our own military, we're able to govern ourselves, or we return back to Africa. And this is why this is why I have African values. So let me finish real quick. Let me finish real quick. So let me go back to what you were saying about help, right? And the reason why a lot of African brothers may take a little bit of offense to it, because we shouldn't look at Africa as from a higher vantage point, because we don't have what they have. We claim that we have the economic power and that's not a third, but we're not a self-governing people. We don't have our own nation. We literally at the whim of white supremacy. They can come and destroy anything we want, anything at any time.
They can
We don't have our own military. We don't control our foreign policy in America.
Ja, do you know I live in the UK? This is a majority white country, right? We have certain towns and cities in the UK that's been held by other races for years, and it's still been held by them. The only people in the UK that haven't managed to hold onto their communities are the black people, who always seeking to integrate with other people, right? So the problem is the more we're trying to integrate, the more, basically, if you look at England, example, if you go to Bradford, you go to Birmingham, it's Asians. They run the city, they control it, and it's in the majority white country. This is not even their country. This country is a land of the English. It's their land. But the council is run by the Asians, the local authorities are run by the Asians. It's been like that for years. Nothing have changed. They haven't gone there and burn it down or kill them or do stuff to them, even though there's still racism, and stuff like that. So it's just people basically this integration have actually led us to the back. I'll give an example. Bristol, this city where I live now, is one of the most prestigious, probably the most prestigious city in the UK, right? And most of this city was held by Jamaican. The Jamaican were in control of this city, the nightclubs, the bars, the housing, in terms of if you want to rent, find somewhere to live and stuff like that. But there was the older generation Jamaican, they knew what they wanted. They knew what they was here for. So, and they wanted to keep their community. But unfortunately, the generation, their children after, started to integrate and started to bring outsiders into the community, right? And they started to open up the community. By the time you know it today, they don't have a community in the UK. And the only people that have community in the UK are the people that been on the news by the liberal media saying these people they want to integrate, which are the Asians, like the Indian and the Pakistani or the Bangladeshi. They've always been on the news, or they don't want to integrate. They come here, they're still imposing their culture on us and stuff like that. These are the people that still got their community. These are the people that still got the wealth in their pocket. These are the people that are still in the higher position in government. What is wrong with black people? We always need to be approved by the outsiders to make us feel good about ourselves. Why can't we just stick to ourselves and build on what we got?
No, I hear you.
Y'all still blaming somebody else for what you're not doing for yourself?
Yeah, hold on. Can I please, Al, please?
Yes.
Al, please hold on, because I was going to ask.
Yes.
Because when
Flanders back, bitches.
Can you,
okay, back, boy.
Can you hold on, Musanda? Hold on.
Ladies back.
Chill out, Musanda.
Yeah, we're having a civilized conversation, but
I like that do that, daddy.
After you, BT.
Hold on. God. So, because when Josh spoke, he talked about it, because Truth Speaker was like half and half. It wasn't too sure about either the need for integration. Like it was showing like the pros and cons on that. And
the pros and cons,
yeah. So Truth Speaker, based on look at what Josh just said about, he thought maybe integration was a mistake. Are you still 50-50 on that position, or are you willing to reconsider?
No. I'm not. I was just saying the pros and cons. I'm pro.
No, not you, but because he wasn't too sure what side he wanted to swing to.
No, who's not sure? I'm pretty sure.
No, not you. Nah, not you. It's Truth Speaker I was talking to.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Not you.
But I was saying personally, look, I know he's saying like the integration, it was bad. We had way more harm happening right there than probably before then, like with the whole segregation thing. But I feel like it was necessary. We was hated in segregation for our advancements and the stuff we kind of needed. Now, like, we get love for our contributions to America, and that alone is going to help us with our sanction. I see what he's talking about, because looking back, it's easy for us to look back on paper and say, oh, we should have did this move and this move, because I was just like that, you know. And I used to think like, oh, this was wrong. I don't think MLK should have did it, but it was by the higher power. You know, it's already
so when Martin Luther King, not to cut you off, bro, right? So when Martin Luther King said he felt like he's leading his people into a burning building, what do you think he meant by that?
No, he did, but he had to look.
Thank you for
it
your
was
honesty.
ordained. He had people behind him. Look, this is what I'm gonna say, because look, I don't think you understand my full perspective on it. It was necessary for him to do that. Like, he, at the end of the day, he was still like a field member for us, right? And that was somebody who was willing to die behind a cause that benefited us. Now, he still had people behind him, though, because when he died, they was able to insert Jesse Jackson and insert Al Sharpton, insert.
Oh, he's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah, all of these coons, bro. These dudes are coons, bro. A lot of these dudes, they sold us out, bro.
Yeah, but those was the same person who told him not to walk up the steps, right? So the play was gonna happen. The play was gonna happen regardless, because it was being orchestrated from behind the scenes. Now, if it wasn't MLK, it was gonna be somebody else, because it was ministers that came to MLK and told him, okay, we got an agenda for you to push. We're gonna push you forward. He just was more willing to be for the cause that he did it. But it's like, I feel personally, the race relationships is bad, but it's not really bad. It's more like stereotype. It's more like, oh, you got this stereotype. You got this stereotype. It's not no hate. Back then, they was hurt. They was hanging. They was lynching, grabbing you out the house. That wouldn't have stopped if we were segregated. And we were so defeated. I feel like at that point, we needed a break to get clarity to oversee everything that's happening. You know, truth. That's why I feel like I don't
think it's changed, bro. Honestly, I don't think it's changed. I would say it's more covert now. Right. I would say it's more covert. So back in those days, you had the Ku Klux Klan. They wore the white sheets, and it was plain and evident. Now we have the police. Literally, do you know the history of the police in America?
If we were,
you know the history of the police in America were actually slave catchers. Do you know that?
Yes, I understand that. I know.
Do you know a lot of the police in America, they get trained by the Israeli police and Israeli military to deal with us in a certain way?
Jazola, let me just tell the truth. Yeah, the truth. When the Jamaicans and the black people were integrating in the UK with the locals, with the white liberals, the Asians, the Pakistani and the Indians and Bangladeshi, they refused. They was getting lynched by the white also at that time. In the UK, they had what they call packy bashing, right? In the weekend, they used to go out looking for Asian dudes, right, to go and beat up. That used to be the normal norm. It used to be the Jamaicans that used to go out there and helping the Indians and the Pakistani, you know, for being beaten up by the white races. So years down the line, today, they are facing less racism, you know, against the whites than we are. We are the one that are facing the hard stuff. And we're the one that integrated in their society. We're the one that intermarried with their children.
Yeah.
We're the one
Can you
that
hear
actually went to school then. You understand? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel it, but I mean,
so we need to look at the evidence of what we've done.
We can't go back in time. We can move forward. I feel like that was necessary to not even it was necessary I feel like it was necessary for us to be in the position that we are now. And whatever for our lineage, however it's gonna roll out, it needed to go to these places so we live.
You guys, Hispanics are replaced. I mean, you guys are first class citizens.
And I'm telling you, when the Hispanics, when they beat Trump and they beat the deportation stage of America, and they sidestep all of those hurdles and all them punches, and then they still get in mass influx, and the immigration, they can just walk over here, it'd be no complaints. Then that'll be the day I'll say, okay.
I'll hold on now, please. Truth speaker, don't you? I was watching one of this posters for the Democratic Party recently. Is it James Johnson, whatever? Is one of those big black guys. And this black brother was saying on national TV that the black man's vote is irrelevant in the Democratic Party. That they're actually sourcing for votes from the Hispanic male and the Asian male, and he's a black guy. So it does not see the black, not the female vote, the black male vote to them and the Democratic Party, according to his own polls, don't show that you're relevant anymore. So they are literally trying to appease the males in the Hispanic community and the Asian community. And it's a black guy telling us that on national TV. I was stunned.
I think you looking at it kind of wrong. I'm not really saying. Oh, listen.
I don't know what to think. I'm only asking the question because I'm like that was just shocking to me coming from a black guy. That was
probably bald. But this is what it is, man. I know y'all looking because y'all look at us. We have a big spotlight on us. So y'all like to be like, oh, what is the black Americans doing? What is the black Americans doing? We didn't start the close the border movement. That wasn't our movement. We was late to it. We told when Trump came out with the close the border, they sending too many people over here. We was the ones that said F Donald Trump, man. We was the ones who gave him the resistance. Now our hands off the table.
You're right. You're right.
So if our hands off the table, that you have to stand on your own now, because when we stood in the way and we said F Donald Trump and we gave him the resistance and made a whole movement behind it and told him don't do it, he had to backpedal, right?
Yeah. So you're right. You're right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're not on. Now y'all right. They are the future. Let the future fend for the future. We're gonna let the future fight for the future.
Do you think African Americans should be voting with the Republicans from now on?
No. They should vote interest, not party. So
it's only two parties in America. Hold on. It's only two parties in America.
Just wait. Let me see my point. You know I'm coming. Just listen first, please. The mistake is you vote interest, not party. That means any party at any time that appeals to your interest as a group is what you vote for. Not that you just because this person is black or the Democrat, they get to vote automatically. So you vote interest, not party. That's what they need to do. The black
I think black people are generally conservative anyway. So for them to be voting a party like Democrats is quite confusing to me.
They can't.
Yes, let's give Ibo the floor because he's been waiting patiently.
Yeah, I think black people should not vote.
Yeah, I want to add something. Can I add?
The Democrat play the black people. They all play black
people.
No,
you have to wait. Sorry.
They use them as pawns. The black people shouldn't vote Democrat. They all use it as pawns.
Listen, we gotta vote for our interest, bro. Both of those parties are two sides of the same bird, bro. They don't give a fuck about. We wasn't when they was creating these concepts for these parties. We were enslaved, so they didn't have.
That's my point. That's my vote interest.
We should vote interest exactly.
Just because
either we vote for our own interest in these different parties, or we create our own political party.
And just dominate your own local precincts, and that's it. Just dominate your local areas. Because if you leave the Democratic Party and you go Republican, they know you have no leverage because you are literally desperate to get another one.
Exactly.
But if you just say like, listen, I am here. What can you do for me? And based on that, I'm going to vote for you. You have more leverage. Interest over party. That's it.
Yeah.
One more thing too.
I agree. It's all about interest. Every other thing is.
Okay, so they will ask the Democrats, why do you want black people to vote for you? Oh, Trump is racist. I know that. Tell me about yourself. Trump is racist. Tell me about you. They have nothing to say. It's just racist. They hate you. Okay, I get that. What do you have for me? They have nothing. So they're still playing this race card at this point in time. Like, dude, I'm tired of that racist nonsense.
Listen, but neither one of them have anything for us. I would say the only thing with the Republicans or the conservatives is that generally black people, black Americans, we are conservative, culturally conservative. You get what I'm saying?
No.
So it's in our interest to close the borders. It's in our interest to, to preserve some conservative values in our communities. You get what I'm saying? But both of them, to me, are two sides of the same bird. I'll just look at Democrats as a little bit worse. You know what I mean? Them being worse. But we have to start thinking as our own. We have to start thinking as our own state, our own people, our own nation, bro. That's the problem with us.
Thank you.
We don't think as our own nation.
But
this is what Martin Luther King and Nation of Islam. This is what they try to get us to think like. But
they don't.
I got a question for you.
They don't pretend.
Wait. This is very important. Ja, do you in truth follow the politics of America? And when I say that, I mean on ground. because what I'm noticing here is that everybody's asking you things that based on the internet. And usually when I listen to a lot of politically astute people, when this argument is made, there was one person talking about what is one party giving you relative to the other. I've been on clubhouse rooms where politically astute Black Americans who actually know policy would actually mention certain things like they did this, some lobby that like the Republicans were trying to put for farmers that they actually fought over it. It was big push by the Democrats, but the Republicans kind of stopped that. You know what I mean? I'm actually expecting that from both of you to actually like come up with actual policies both parties have put forward and back, instead of just, I guess, rhetoric from the internet. Like, what is happening on ground, right?
Party,
Not
Listen,
on the
which
internet.
party
what I can tell you, right,
abolished
Musana, what I can
slavery?
tell you,
Which party abolished slavery? Which party abolished slavery?
bro, they didn't give a neither side did not give a fuck about slavery, bro. Abraham Lincoln did not care about slavery. He
Nah,
just
it's a
wanted to
stupid
preserve the
argument,
union. He
man.
didn't care about slavery.
Politics.
So when it what I can say to
let's
that,
talk about
all right,
policy,
so hold on,
Johnson.
let me answer Masonda, right? Let me answer Masonda, right? So what I can say to that, right? Me personally, I'm gonna look at my problems as a Black American or my people as a collective group and say, what is the problem with our people? I would say first is fatherless homes and literacy rate. I would say immigration is a problem for us. You get what I'm saying? So whatever party is looking to is in our interest to help us in those areas, that's who I will vote for. You get what I'm saying? Democrats are not looking, they're not helping us in those things, in those areas that we're feeling in. Does that make sense to you?
But are Democrats okay? But my question is: aren't Republicans the ones that are trying to stop you guys from being even able to vote in the first place? Over they call it voter suppression, and also that party the thing I just mentioned. That's the only thing I know. The fact that they actually had a voting where they stopped Black farmers from getting anything. I mean, all the problems you're mentioning, those are not. I'm sorry, like those are not things that are actually solvable over a policy. There's no policy that's going to make single mothers not exist anymore. There's no policy that's going to make Black men be step-up fathers and whatever. But there are policies that can make it a lot easier for Black men in America to either access fund, either access things for their businesses, and make it easier for them to raise their family. So at the end of the day, I don't live in America. I would love to hear. No, I'm being honest. I'm not one of these guys that like to. I'm just saying that I would really love to hear maybe more alternative American voices talking about policies within America, not something on the internet, because the internet is all fake, man. You should hear the things they say about our country. The YouTube, whatever, this is all internet, right? And people are basing it on, oh, this one's abolish slavery. What? How is that important today when we're talking about policies that are actually affecting your everyday life? And someone's telling you, vote for the party that's actually stopping you.
Pass the mic, my guy. Come on, pass the mic. You're getting long-winded.
All right, Masada, look, I just referenced earlier the right now I'm kind of chilling. You know, I want to see what's up with this election. So I'm more waiting on the election. But it's he issued the platinum plan that's exclusively for the Black American community. So to me, I feel like I just got to see. I'm right now waiting to see if he win or lose, right? Because if he win, it give us enough grace period to go establish our own political party. We could start cultivating ourselves. Me personally, I've never seen us be more detailed on who we're voting for than this election. As far as we're doing compare and contrast, because now it's not wishful voting. Now it's resume against resume, and we know what it was like under Trump, and we know what it was like under Biden. So, like with the whole Democratic and the Republican, we just voting for policy. We really voting to close that border, to be honest. And that platinum.
Hang on. Let me add in something really quick, right? See, I think Black Americans, I think you guys are cucked because you only care about racism. Honestly, like I thought, like the economy of Black Americans was better under Trump, but you guys are so afraid of white man, a little bit of racism, that you're gonna go back to slavery. And I think that's the fear that's holding you back from voting for your.
Where are you from?
That shit is cap, Kaiser. What are you talking about?
Where is he from?
No, it's true. It's true. I'm just an African.
Because ground, bro, nobody thinks about racism, bro. On the ground, it's only during like fucking election year that people start crying about racism and shit like that. But for the most part, nobody cares about racism.
But
you know why they picked Biden though? Do you know why they picked Biden?
How come?
because Biden was the vice president for Obama. So when you look at it on paper, is we gonna pick the vice president for Obama?
You're dusty Kenyan brother, Kaiser. That Kaiser, you're dusty Reading boy, man. Stop lying. You're dusty boy from Reading.
So that's really what it was. Either you pick the person that's cool but got his community going crazy, or you gonna pick Obama vice president, and you gonna weigh your options. But
do you know Obama don't like this guy? Well, even Obama don't like him no more. Obama disowned Biden.
Yeah, but we needed Obama. That's what I want you to understand. All of this is rolling out. We needed Obama. We needed Obama to see past color. We needed Biden to show that the Democrats don't care. They already doing underlying stuff, and we needed Trump to show us that racism is not enough for us to be scared. We voting for policies now. So we don't learn all these lessons off of the stuff. I just feel like we good, man. Y'all just worry about the election, to be honest. I know we can pick and nit for tat with the whoop. This election, if they can't beat that Trump card, it's up.
Absolutely. We're not afraid of racism. And just to let you know, the people that are out here crying racism most of the time are fake FBA ADOs. They're African. That's what they are. They're African and Caribbean out here talking about racism. We're not afraid of racism. Why would we be afraid of that? But we do understand our worth, and we will fight for what we deserve because we built this country. And so when Africans talk so much, how about I don't know how to pronounce it, but Shaka Holo, Shaka Hola cult in Kenya. Let's talk about that.
Shaka Hola?
Are
you talking about the?
I think she's trying to divert from the conversation and talk about.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know nothing about that. Sorry, sis. Don't come up here with that bullshit, man.
And you don't even know us. Then you should say, "Are you afraid of racism? Is this what?" But if I look at our scoreboard, we're doing the best. So people who have never won anything or done anything, they really shouldn't judge like that.
Isn't the only black president from Kenya? So that means you can't even get a real black president.
He didn't run as a Kenyan candidate, and y'all know that. Don't throw that comment out there like he ran.
I hope Africa had to come and win as a black president.
This is what I believe.
No, but I'm saying Kaiser has a point. We've never had a black president. Period.
No, look, I understand that, but he didn't run as a Kenyan. He didn't say, "Oh, I'm from Kenya." Trump was on him. Y'all see, I don't think y'all understand. Trump was on him at the speech. He said, "Where's your birth certificate?"
Absolutely.
Where's your birth certificate from? So Trump been on him. So he ran as a black. Like Kamala, she ran as a black. She didn't run as an Indian. We finding this out. Now that's what
we got tricked into voting for them. That's what you're saying. We got tricked into voting. We got tricked once again.
We picked Joe Biden because he was the vice president of Obama. I just told you that. Y'all stop playing slow.
Let me give one information that you didn't know today. Obama is Kaiser uncle, Remember that.
Now he is. The Wanga.
$5 our leaders in Africa, the reason why black people are abroad are treated so badly. I'm keep saying it. Our leaders in Africa, the reason why our black people in Africa are abroad treated very badly. Our leaders are
So we voted for an African president. That's what you're saying?
Stop being condescending, bro. You know he did not run as a Kenyan. He did not run as a Kenyan immigrant in America.
But listen, we have this lady on the panel who's saying that he was an African, so we voted for an African president. That's the facts. We voted for an African president.
We found out he was African. Did we find out he was African before or after? Did we find out? Did he say he was a Kenyan while he was going up the ranks? Did he say that?
All right, so let me ask you a question. Do you consider these?
Don't question.
Niggas getting emotional. I'm out. Niggas getting emotional. I'm out.
Get up out of here.
No. You don't have to be like that. It's just,
we just had a good Al, and I've been having a good dialogue with y'all for an hour and 30 something minutes. I ain't get tricked on my turn.
Don't pull up the line.
You done well. Honestly, you done well. Great conversation so far. Don't let them distract it. But the finish. sister, when you coming up with rebuild America, this and that, you got to ignore this kind of conversation. We know, your slave labor, your free slave labor build America. You understand that? And
I
we don't.
I understand. I can buy your little country or village. That's
Say that again.
Labor.
Man, she can buy your African ass village, boy.
Well, this attitude that
Nah,
needs to
man,
stop.
they the slaves, idiots. They just jealous. They wish they were in America.
Yeah. This attitude also need to stop. If you are trying to move forward, because you are going through it.
We going off track. We was on a good track. We was having a good open conversation. I don't want to do the supremacy.
But truth, you can buy an African village, man. You can buy everyone in this goddamn panel, man. You can buy everyone.
We don't want to buy an African village. Look, we're not trying to do that here. We're not trying to make it an FBA. We do that too much, man. Let's just have one dialogue where we can just try to find solutions. Let's not make it an FBA versus African.
Thank you, Fruit. Absolutely. We're trying to find solution and we're trying to talk. Yeah. But coming up to sing and stuff like that.
What do you call a black man in America? What do you call a black man in America? A nigga, 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 a nigga, nigga, nigga.
I should go to the studio. Go drop that.
The truth. Do you notice how? Do you notice how clever the American system is? They actually chose a black man from Africa whose ancestors have nothing to do with slavery, and they haven't chosen a West African black descendant. Yeah,
I correspond to that too.
You understand what I'm saying? The truth, right? They chose.
Yeah, you know who Barack Obama's stepdad is?
No.
Lolo Soetoro. You know who Lolo Soetoro is?
No.
He real close with the Clinton family. So y'all thinking this work. Y'all thinking that's the problem. Like y'all keep thinking like they're giving y'all the options. You got to pick the right option. They're giving you the options. They put both of them in front of your face. If you vote for your emotion, you're on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
But they're telling you who right and who wrong right in your face. Like I said, Barack Obama is not a normal Kenyan. Look up Lolo Soetoro. He one of the richest men in the 1900s at that time frame. He's one of the richest. Right. So he's not an average Kenyan. Like y'all think like he's just an average Kenyan and rose up to rank. He still wrote, and then he still needed an FBA woman on his side. If he would have put up with Hillary Clinton on his side, you think we would have went for that?
On their own.
Do you know what? The Kaiser, Kaiser, your people are a big threat to black people, you know. I'm talking to you, Kaiser.
Handicap.
My people, let me explain how superior Kenyans are, right? We produced the first black American president, and then we'll let you go. FBA.
Stay on the panel. Kaiser,
how did him be
officially
let Kaiser finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, 1 second. You go next. So we produced the first and only black president in America. That's one. Two, we managed to actually resolve our issue with the Eurobond situation. Right?
Can you move, sister, please? Sister, just let him speak.
We had a Eurobonds problem, right? What that means is the Kenyan shilling had gone so weak, 162 shillings to $1. Right now, the Ruto, shout out to my president, right? He resolved it and is now 134 shillings for $1. Meanwhile, Nigeria, that shithole, has gone from 400 naira to $1 to 1,600 naira. Ghana, another shithole country. Ethiopia, Zambia. The point is, Kenyans are uniquely intelligent and better than all Africans. It is what it is.
So what is it? Okay, one second. The truth. Kaiser. So is the shilling?
Why did Obama use the seat of the White House to go help out Kenya?
Yeah.
Can you answer that for me? Because he's a Kenyan, right?
Why most of the wealth? Yeah, man. The way I see it, man, you guys are just jealous of the Nilots. The Nilots are winning. Your FBA and your Niger Congo, but
to the alley, what Kaiser can't deny what Kaiser say. Kaiser is to get denied. East Africa is better than West Africa, and they're not. West African leaders are dumb.
That's not true. You stop saying that rubbish.
No,
You keep
it
Yeah,
going
is.
on.
no, Kenya is
I'm
better
from
than
West Africa. I
Ghana
can
and
say that.
Nigeria by
Our
far.
leaders are dumb.
Even South
Our
Africa
leaders
is
are
better
dumb.
by far.
Kenyan wealth is in the hands of Indians, very tiny minority foreigners. The rest of it is not. Just stop the rubbish.
Oh
Right?
my God.
Obama is the worst
That's
thing.
jealousy.
Obama. Okay, if you want to talk like that, yeah, the franc CFA is more stable than the shilling.
Hey,
As a
Al, let
currency.
me say
My
something. You know
brother,
how to
where are you right now?
You know that.
Kaiser
You know that.
and I
You
are
know
in
that.
Africa. Where are you? Where are you, Al? You're not in
remember
Africa.
that, Al?
You are not in
Musanda,
Africa. That's my
you,
point.
Musanda,
Your country is not
you know
stable,
me and
bro.
you.
That's not
Musanda,
how
you know
starts.
me and you were not on the same
Hang
level,
on,
so don't
that's
talk
a
to me,
good point,
please.
right?
Yeah, thank you.
Only
Oh,
the
Musamba,
Kenyans and
me and you are not the same level.
Musanda,
You in the Lily rent to a white man's nation. What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, it
Whatever,
in the
man. Just
chaos,
me.
man.
Yeah. Go on, Kaiser. I'm listening.
only the Kenyans and South Africans
A
can live in
fucking
the nation.
Englishman's accent here. Oh, go on, Kaiser.
Because,
Hey, mate. Hey, Musamba, what you talking about, mate?
yeah, it's only the Kenyans and South Africans who can actually live in their nations. Like everybody else has to japa, right? They have to leave. They have to run.
No,
right?
because you know how to be humble slaves. That's the problem. We are not. That's because you know how to be humble slaves. That's the difference.
Can't even
But
get
Kaiser,
themselves out of poverty. Don't get
Kaiser,
oil.
can
We're
you
the
answer that
slaves.
question?
We
One
know how to
second.
be good workers and get
Go ahead.
paid. We
Huh?
don't like to work for people. We'll work for ourselves. We earn our money. We don't like to
You are
beg.
in
That's
the
the
UK.
difference.
You ain't working for yourself. You rent in the UK. Don't do that shit.
How do you know who I work for?
Al, when you going back to Africa?
How do you know?
Ja, Musanda, stop me. Honestly, you just
See, let me
stop
give the
it.
context, right?
Yeah, Ja, go on.
I left the Queen's bosom in the UK, come to Kenya, and $5 a day, so I can live on poverty, just so I can produce Pan African content, so that our people can join together. You see, that's a true Pan African, Kaiser.
Yeah, right. You're a capitalist, man. Stop the Pan African cap. You're a true Reddit capitalist boy. You know that came from Kenya, just like Obama. Let's just make that clear, Kaiser.
Yeah, I
My
just
brother, I
wanted
love you,
I
but
just
let's say
wanted
the
Obama to
truth.
run as a Kenyan president. I wanted to know. I just wanted to know why he didn't show his birth certificate
No,
as a proud
we don't
Kenyan.
want it. We want him to
No,
go and
because you
solve the
can't.
problem
Okay,
that
hang
he
on.
started
I
in
wanted to know
Libya.
why he needed Lolo Socorro family
I'll answer
lineage.
the question. I'll answer the question. In America, you can't run as a president if you have dual nationality. So you have to choose American. And also, if you run as a Kenyan, they'll be like, okay, you're not actually American. So American president, you can't run as a dual nationality. You have to choose American.
That's a
Kaiser.
lie.
Listen,
Kaiser.
Kaizo, all Obama had to do is flaunt his melanated skin, and then people just voted for him. So I mean, that's how that
All,
goes.
all Obama
Juba,
had to
stop
do
polluting the
was
plat-
all
stop
he had to
polluting
do
the
was rep
platform,
that
Juba.
Kenyan flag, and I bet he wouldn't have won. That's all he had to do.
He wouldn't have
But
been
he
able
had
to
to
run.
say he had to say he was a Black American. He had to say he was an African American. He didn't say I'm a Kenyan American.
Because you can't run truth. That's the point. Yeah,
Man, no, he could have said he's a Kenyan American.
He hid that very well, didn't he? Even his birth certificate, he hid it.
So why hide
Damn,
it?
it's that
hide
easy
it?
for tellers to
that guy
just
was
come in and become president, huh? Wow.
That guy was born.
Nah,
That guy was
you
born
so
in the village, man.
you so two-faced. You so two-faced. You would slap yourself.
But you know, Kaiser, you made a good analysis the other time, right? You said
Because I don't fuck
East
with this
African
FBA
brothers.
shit, bro. That shit's corny as fuck.
But it's
Keep
a
it
Kaiser.
real.
But one thing I like about Kaiser, though, Kaiser, one thing I rate about you, yeah, one thing I rate about you, you're honest guy. Whether you like it or not, you always put it down as it is, right? You remember you said your people down in East Africa, they welcome anything that's come from the white, from the foreign, right, except their own. And those in South, can you break that down again, Kaiser, please?
Yeah. So I was saying, like, okay, so the people in East Africa, especially the non-Kushite, non-Nilotic people, they tend to be xenophilic. So anytime they see foreigners, they definitely treat them with a lot of respect. And of course, people in West Africa, they tend to be more xenophobic. Even Nigeria, you can't even get a visa right easily. You have to apply like the same as if you're going to America. So what that means is we're more able to actually obviously interact with the white man system because we're able to integrate with it a little bit better. I mean, that's why Kenya right now, if you really look at Africa, we didn't fall into the whole debt trap thing because what my president has been going around begging for money, right? Yeah, he's been begging for money from like green financing, tech financing, all this kinds, and he's been getting it. right? That's what's been fixing our economy, because we've got the dollars, then he distributed the shillings, and then he's able to pay off the debts. But other African presidents, they're just sitting there like, not really kind of willing to integrate with the system. So yes, being xenophilic.
They're not willing to beg. They want to borrow, not
Well,
begging.
No, they
Borrowing
beg in a
and
different way.
begging is
They're
the
like,
same thing.
give us fair trade. Give us fair trade. It's still begging. It's just not very high.
What are you talking about, bro?
I'm talking about Ghana, for example, asking for fair trade, in the cocoa industry, instead of just making their own value.
Yeah.
Obama.
Yeah, let me finish. Because he's actually breaking it down. I think you're actually 100% right in that.
So countries like Kenya also, I do think Kenya is going to be the Singapore type because of the service-based industry. We don't have any resources. So for us, or we can kind of act as a conduit for foreign direct investment into tech, and this green financing stuff. So ultimately, I think African countries can learn a lot from Kenya. Like at the end of the day, you have to integrate. You can't fight the system. I mean, it's impossible, right?
If you're going to be in the capitalist world, you have to be a capitalist. That's true. If you're going to be a socialist, yes. If you're going to be a socialist, you have to be a socialist.
Or completely lock up the whole continent and make the continent trade within itself, but that's not going to happen. We don't trust each other.
No. It is true. I think the problem we have in West Africa in general, we want to mix match things. You see, some countries want to try a bit of socialism there. They want to try a bit of capitalism. They want to try borrowism. They want to try begginism. There, all kind of stuff. It's not working, and they need to find a system that works in West Africa. But however, there's some countries in West Africa that are doing really well, just like Kenya, like Senegal, Ivory Coast. They're doing really well in terms of trading and stuff like that. In fact, they got really good trade deals. Ivory Coast actually got better trade deals with the UK in terms of cocoa and in fact, finished product than Ghana. And Ivory Coast is a French-speaking country. In fact, Ivory Coast is the one that's currently supplying us electricity in Sierra Leone, and they actually sending the grid all the way to Guinea and the other West African countries. And this, do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I get it. I got a question for Truth. Yeah. Truth, by the way, the average IQ for Black American is 85.
Oh, don't start that, man.
What's the average? What's the average of an African? What's the average of an African?
It's even lower.
20.
It's like 70.
It's even lower. I think 65 or something.
You said yours is 20.
It's even lower. Truth. So I hope
that is over.
Let me speak real quick, Al.
Man, it's over.
I'm trying to be respectful. I'm trying to be respectful. I ain't speaking on y'all home. I ain't speaking on y'all living conditions. I'm not speaking on y'all practices. I'm not speaking on none of that, right? So I'm trying to keep a clean conversation.
Speak on that shit.
Go off course. I can go radical. I just
go radical. Go radical. Don't fake it.
You can talk.
Yes.
Chill out, bro. Nobody talking.
Yeah, because you're trying to show like a fake camaraderie, bro. Like just go radical, man. Say what you want to say.
Have I been?
Because you're saying, I can go radical if I want to. Then go radical, nigga.
Have I been? Yes. You gonna run off the panel? Don't play with me, John.
Yeah.
Okay. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen if I do? What's gonna happen?
Just chill out,
What's gonna happen, bro? We're on the fucking internet. What's gonna happen? Fucking emotional ass bitch ass nigga.
The internet games, man. Don't
right, hear this shit on is crazy. Bro.
Internet games.
I'm gonna run off the panel. Run off the panel, John.
I'm here. I'm about to troll you. I'm about to troll all that FBA bullshit. I'm trolling that shit.
Man, you be over there on BSI. Shut up.
Nigga, fuck BSI. Nigga, you crazy?
BSI, yeah, all right.
My nigga, y'all niggas believe. Hold on, y'all niggas believe y'all white, bro. Y'all believe y'all elite Europeans, though. What the fuck? What kind of cool shit is that, nigga? Y'all niggas worship white people, bro. He literally tells y'all that y'all need a white fucking god, my nigga. Like, are you serious?
You be over there.
Fuck BSI, nigga. Fuck that stream, nigga. Fuck FBA too, nigga. I'm gonna fuck about that.
And now you want to show your chest. And you know
bro, I've been telling niggas fuck FBA. Man, nigga, I don't give a fuck about none of that.
There, bro. You be up there shutting up.
Yeah, all right.
You don't even get to speak over there. You get to speak over here because you know that.
Let people be who they want to be. If they want to be European, they want to be this. Just
yeah, that's some cool shit. So why they over here, bro? That's some cool shit, bro. I mean, you can be whatever you want. I don't care. You want to be a fucking elite European? That's on you. I could care less.
Yeah, but we know who they are. We know who they are, so it doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say is, in fact, 90% of the Black American are 90%. Most Black Americans are from the Senegambian region. They can claim to be whatever they want to be. We know who they are. Yeah, most slave that was taken from the Senegambia. Most Black
Americans. Only 300,000.
No, it's more than that. You know,
Show me more.
Most of the slave that was taken from West Africa. Most of the Black Americans were
about 300,000. Show me where I'm wrong.
He don't know any better.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, you see, this is the problem here. If you go to West Africa, and go to the Senegambia, you go to Gorée Island, you go to this the coastal areas like in Sierra Leone, Liberia, you will see the amount. Wait, listen. I'm not talking about history based on what the white people say or what European wrote. I'm talking about the history that the African themselves, wrote. Most of the slaves, most African Americans, 90% actually came from the Senegambian. Most of those that went to Brazil came from most of them came from Senegambia. Most of those that came from Nigeria went to Brazil. Most of those that came from Nigeria.
That's not true, bro.